Can't make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.IndianaSRN.org and tune in to all of the live action, or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
This is the Frells family's land. When the sun comes out, the kids run and play right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor. His land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
Hi!
You're good at making big announcements. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
You want a sports degree that is beyond the game? A degree that immerses you from day one and launches you into the business side of sports. With a sports management major from IUPUI's School of Health and Human Sciences, you'll have insider access to sports professionals and will learn from faculty with years of teaching and industry experience. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to launch your sport industry career.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to order a hamburger, fries, salt, maybe a large vanilla shake.
This is a trophy shop, can't you tell?
You got carry out?
Everything that you need we have here at the shop. Very unique. You order today, carry out tonight. That's our version of carry out.
All right, I'll take one of everything.
Oh, that may take a little longer. We'll have it for you tomorrow night.
I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up.
We'll be waiting for you.
Bertner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment, whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
You want a career that creates experiences that are impossible to forget. By studying sports and events at IUPUI, you'll get hands-on experience in and out of the classroom. And with Indy as your classroom, there are high-profile events, sports franchises, hotels, museums, and large organizations across the city to engage, educate, and enlighten your student journey before you graduate. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to prepare you to handle any event, big or small. It all starts here.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
You're good at keeping the car clean. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
High school sports fans, welcome back to Game Time. to pure spirits, to pure sport. Welcome back to high school sports.
Fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back.
This is game time. This is Indiana high school sports. This is your IHSAA.
You want a career that will transform your life while you change the lives of others by helping them live well. With a health or exercise sciences degree from IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the healthcare industry while preparing you for a variety of graduate and professional programs in health. And with Indy as your classroom, you will have clinical options within leading hospitals right in our backyard, as well as a degree from Indiana University, reputable leaders in the healthcare industry. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
High school football fans, welcome back to Friday night, to pure spirits, to pure sport. Welcome back to high school football.
Fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back.
This is Friday night. This is Indiana high school football. This is your IHSAA.
Good afternoon. My name is Jay Jones. I'm the Commissioner of the Heartland Collegiate Athletic Conference, and we're excited that you joined us for today's webcast. We're thrilled to have this relationship with IndianaSRN, and we're excited to show you the game of the week each week, showcasing some of the best small college football around the Midwest. We hope that you'll continue to watch and let us know what else you might want to see. You can go to www.heartlandconf.org to see stats, game recaps, and other information around the league. Until then, enjoy today's webcast.
A crisp fall afternoon in Franklin, Indiana. We're at Franklin College for the 6th edition of the Heartland Game of the Week right here on IndianaSRN. It's Week 10 across all Division III football, and now the 6th week that we get to see Heartland Conference action here on IndianaSRN. Today's broadcast is being brought to you by the Morales Group, building better futures one story at a time. By Bertner Electric, your licensed and experienced electrician serving Central Indiana. Piper Logistics, 3 services, 1 solution. And Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown farm equipment dealer. Alongside Sean Kroll, Jarrett Lewis with you, back again for another great football game in the Heartland Conference. This time we get to see Rose-Hulman for the second time this year, and for the first time the Grizzlies of Franklin College. The Fighting Engineers bring in their high-powered offense in which they score 42 points a game under head coach Jeff Sokol, who's in his 11th year patrolling the Fighting Engineers. And Sean, right now Rose-Hulman is in the driver's seat to try and capture a Heartland Conference championship. With a win here today, they'll face off against Mount St. Joseph next week in what could very well be the deciding game for the conference championship.
It is. They have to take care of business today here at Franklin, but it is no easy task to come here to Fott Stadium and take care of the Grizzlies. On the other hand, Mount St. Joseph is hosting Hanover, who still has ideas of winning the conference championship themselves. Hanover takes on Franklin next week as well. So it comes down to the wire. We got two places we're going to try and keep an eye on the other game to see what's happening. This is a great atmosphere for football. The fall colors, it's absolutely fantastic. And I'm kind of sad there's only one more week left.
Me too. It's gone by so fast.
It
Just
has.
The one last week is what we have for you next week, and it will be Franklin. We get them back-to-back weeks. They will be at Hanover for the 91st annual Bell game. Should be an exciting one. It always seems to be. Hanover is right there in the mix too. They're a 4-1 conference team, so they're tied with Mount St. Joseph for second in the Heartland Conference play. Those three teams right there in the mix, but like we said, Rose-Hulman is really in the driver's seat at the moment, thanks to their star-studded performance this year from their quarterback, Andrew Dion, who has eclipsed 2,200 yards passing. He averages 280 a game, but also, as you take a look at the numbers, taking care of the football, 23 touchdowns to just 8 interceptions.
You know, the senior from San Diego, California, the number that jumps off the page to me, 163.9 quarterback rating. The young man is getting it done on the field. 23 touchdowns, like you said, 8 interceptions, and they spread the ball around. They've got a ton of receivers. They get a lot of play. Lately, it's been Noah Thomas from Ben Davis of Indianapolis, who's been kind of his go-to receiver.
Thomas leads the team in receptions with 39 for 747 yards. You see the rest of the numbers there. But like you said, Sean, Dion has some studs on the outside. He has been sharing the wealth around to his receivers. 4 receivers have 29 catches or more. You look at Jalen Hobbs, he has 29, and he's 4th on the team. That's quite remarkable to have 4 guys have so many catches this year. And then the rest of them include Daniel Hury and Adam Taisaliu. Hury with 37. Taisaliu has 33 catches. He's got so many guys to go to. We're gonna call all their names here this afternoon.
And the top 5 receivers, all in average catch over double digits, all over 10 yards average per catch. That says a lot. The Franklin defense is really going to be tested today in terms of what they can do. And they have the 7th worst passing defense in the conference. Going to be a huge test for them.
Now, don't overlook the run game of Rose-Hulman as well. It's still, for the most part, a very balanced offense, although the passing game does rule. They average 295 yards a game, but still get 132 yards on the ground with the likes of Shane Wilshans and Grant Raperda. We'll see those two in action in the backfield for the Fighting Engineers. Now on the other side, the home team this afternoon on Senior Day for the Franklin Grizzlies. We saw plenty of seniors for Franklin line up all across the field, and at least a dozen, more than a dozen for Franklin. And for Senior Day, what better way in a great environment here at Fott Stadium to try to play spoiler, to try to get a big upset loss for Rose-Hulman to make things a little bit more interesting. It's funny, we mentioned this earlier in the week, how Hanover is rooting for Franklin this afternoon. They want the Grizzlies to pull off the upset and beat Rose-Hulman. This year, the Grizzlies 5-3 overall, 3-2 in conference play. Alan Hensel's in his second year as head coach of the Grizzlies, and going with the freshman at quarterback this afternoon in Kai Ross.
Yeah, 5'10" from Tri-West High School, who had a huge victory last night in their sectional championship. Hasn't passed it for a ton of yards yet, only 317 yards. Does rush it a little bit, but they made a change in quarterback, and he likes to hand the ball off to his fellow Bruin, Garrett Cora, 5'10" freshman from Lisden. Got almost 600 yards rushing this year and 7 touchdowns.
The usual quarterback for Franklin is out, that being Dane Andrews, and he's appeared in every single game for them, but will not play this afternoon. Rushing the football there, you see, like you said, the other freshman in Garrett Cora, who has been the lead man for Franklin. Over 100 attempts this year. He's gained 600 yards rushing, has gotten to the end zone 7 times. This offense isn't as high-powered as Rose-Hulman's is, but it might be the freshman just out of nowhere, the inexperience, and for Coach Hensel relying on these freshmen. It's a big task for those 2 players, but they're going to be the ones that this offense is going to look for as we get closer to kickoff here from Franklin College. We'll take our first break. When we come back, we'll break down these teams just a little bit more. It's the Fighting Engineers on the road here at the home of the Grizzlies, Franklin College, the Heartland Game of the Week on IndianaSRN.
My name is John Heitz, and I own the Red Pepper Deli in Madison, Indiana. We've been in business for 15 years now. I'm so passionate about food is because I like to cook and I like to create awesome items. The best advice that has ever been given to me was from my father, who said, you've got to work hard, and if you work hard, you will succeed. He's right. It's not always going to be fun, but don't even try to go into business if you're not going to put 100% into it. The ideal experience is for the customer to come in and be really wowed by the atmosphere, be wowed by the products that we serve, the food in our deli case, the sandwiches and salads, soups that we make. I want the client to feel satisfied and really feel that they've got their money's worth and have enjoyed everything that they've had at the restaurant. Whenever you get a chance, we'd love to see you stop by the Red Pepper Deli in Madison, Indiana. Look forward.
Back here at Fott Stadium, Franklin College, the Grizzlies set to take the field wearing all navy this afternoon.
Oh, I love the uniforms.
I do too. When we did our college tour, we kind of graded the uniforms, graded the helmets. Franklin was towards the top, a great set for the Grizzlies. And then in the background, we can see the Fighting Engineers are getting close to entering the field as well.
Wearing what they like to call their fire and ice uniforms.
Hot.
Icy hot, excuse me. Icy hot. Icy on top with the white, hot on bottom with the reds. Love the uniform matchup today as a uniform junkie.
We'll see how well the offense plays for Rose-Hulman, if they're icy or hot, maybe a little mixture of both. But the Grizzlies with a nice crowd on hand on senior day, trying to pull off the upset on the Fighting Engineers. And one way they might try to pull that off is with their defense. They have a stud on that defensive line, does Franklin.
They do. They're first in the conference against the run, which allows the young man, Jaira Ohada, to get loose. He leads all of Division III in sacks with 12.5 coming into today's game. He's a sophomore, 6'4", 260 from Carmel, Indiana. If they can stop Welshans and Ripperda and really force Rose-Hulman into passing on every down, he could have a big game today, and that could make a huge difference. They're definitely going to try and have to double-team him to keep him away from Andrew Dion.
Grizzlies give up 20 points a game to their opponent, as does Rose-Hulman, so these defenses very evened out in that regard. But it is the offense of Rose-Hulman that is so very much talked about across Division III play, not just in the Heartland Conference. Both teams have entered the field here at Fott Stadium. It's the Week 6 edition of the Heartland Game of the Week here on IndianaSRN. We'll take one more break, and we'll be back for the kickoff. It's the Grizzlies and the Fighting Engineers on IndianaSRN and HCAC.TV.
Hey folks, good to be with you for tonight's game. My name is Andy Simpson, and I'm a licensed IHSAA football official, and welcome to Friday Night Football, powered by IndianaSRN. On behalf of the 340 football officials, the IHSAA, the crew here at IndianaSRN, we hope you enjoyed tonight's game, and more important, don't forget to subscribe to the IndianaSRN YouTube page. As you're watching tonight's contest, I'm going to show you a few of our signals that will help you better understand the information we are trying to convey. Touchdown. Safety. First down. Holding or illegal use of hands. Encroachment, or offsides commonly known. False start, or illegal formation on the offense, or a free kick scrimmage violation, face mask, intentional grounding, roughing the passer, clipping, illegal shift, illegal motion, illegal block, pass interference by the offense or the defense, delay of game, and the one signal we dislike and you as fans don't like seeing, unsporting. We'd like to thank everyone for tuning in tonight and following us on IndianaSRN. You can also tune in to the Football Weekly Show and Coach's Show every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. on IndianaSRN.org. Finally, if you've ever thought about becoming an IHSAA official, www.ihsaa.org and click on the Officials tab or call the IHSAA office at 317-846-6601. Now, sit back and enjoy the game.
Back at the home of the Grizzlies, Franklin College and Font Stadium in Franklin, Indiana, south of Indianapolis, with Sean Kroll, Jarrett Lewis. The Fighting Engineers are in town, and they bring in an undefeated conference record, 6-2 overall, 5-0 when they play Heartland opponents. And this is their second to last test of the season. And you got to get through Franklin first in order to capture that conference championship, and right now they are set alone at the top with their 5-0 undefeated mark.
Well, these are smart young men, as they all are on this field. You know they're not overlooking this game, knowing they have to take care of business at hand right now before they can think about next week in a conference championship, because this is no easy place to win a football game.
5 captains out there for Franklin. We'll await the coin toss and see who's going to get the football first. Like we mentioned, such a high-powered offense is Rose-Hulman. They average 427 yards a game, and nearly 300 of those are through the air with quarterback Andrew Dion, and he's got 4 great receivers to try to throw the football to, all of them with 29 catches or more on the year. Both teams now rotate around midfield. Franklin elects to receive the football to start this game.
Wow, they didn't defer. That's surprising.
Trying to maybe set the tone early is Coach Hensel, who is going with the freshman Kai Ross at quarterback. We will not see Andrews in this ball game. And
I cannot remember the last time I saw a team, win the toss and not defer. That's an interesting choice.
Ross has appeared, this will be his 5th game that he's appeared in. He's 23 of 48, 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown. And a great crowd on hand here at Franklin College. Parking lot surrounding the stadium is packed. The Rose-Hulman bleachers are packed. They have traveled well from Terre Haute.
We were talking to one of the assistant coaches, I believe it was the offensive coordinator for Rose-Hulman, Coach Freeze, and he said, Dean Andrews has a great arm and he throws the ball really well, and Franklin likes to throw it, but with the freshmen, it's going to be a lot different. And he said they've got some things up their sleeve for the freshmen, so we may see some different looks from the Rose-Hulman defense. And one guy to keep your eye on, Michael Stevens, a senior from Orland Park, Illinois. He's their leading tackler. Their linebackers across the board are fantastic. Their defense has played so well lately. A backup safety, Shaiku So, was the conference defensive player of the week last week.
short kick does end up trickling out of bounds off the foot of Brett Tuttle. And so the very first play of this game results in a kick out of bounds and a penalty. Grizzlies will begin things off with great field position. Now the offense.
A fun one. There's no doubt about it. This one is going to be a high-powered offense here today for Rose-Hulman. And I really took a look at Alan Hensel, and just the look on his face, he's very intense for this one here today.
So the first play now for the Franklin Grizzlies offense, as it's a handoff going to the left side, and getting nowhere is Garrett Cora. Stopped for no gain. Good defensive stand on the first play for Rose-Hulman.
Kind of a no-huddle offense here for Franklin. Freshman quarterback, freshman running back.
Going deep. He's got a man. Hauled in, making the catch is Dylan McKinney for Franklin. And a bang for a second play as Kai Ross connects and gets into Rose-Hulman territory.
Great job there on the route by McKinney, running the post route in the middle of the field, and a great throw from the freshman Kai Ross. This is exactly what Franklin needed as they're deep in Rose-Hulman territory.
It goes for 29 yards, bobbling the snap, but able to get it back to Cora. This time he picks up positive yardage, 3 yards with the new set of downs.
You still have to run the football to keep them honest, but that's what the intent is for Franklin today, to run, to set up the throws like they just got, as you see the defense adjusting to the two receivers here on the left of the field.
And two receivers both sides as Cora goes in motion. Ross goes away from it. It's a wide receiver screen set up for Jarrett Gibson, who comes back towards the middle of the field. And a great drive put together so far, as Ross on his 2 pass attempts has completed one to McKinney and now Gibson.
Nice little rub route there with both receivers on the left side. They cross and they bump into the defender. As you'll see here, they bump into the defender, which leaves him open, Gibson. And boy, they're deep they have first and goal at the 10 quickly here in the first quarter.
18 yards that time to Jarrett Gibson. Back to the running game with Cora up the middle. He's got a hole, bounces off of one tackler, and he's inside the 5 to what appears to be the 2-yard line.
Well, now we know why Coach Hensel wanted to get the kickoff. They had something in store, and boy, they're about to stick it in the end zone.
Going hurry up again. Keeping it is Ross into the end zone. What a drive for Franklin. It takes him just 6 plays to get it into the end zone, and Kai Ross caps it off with the 2-yard rush.
Boy, Rose-Hulman still shaking the cobwebs out, and Franklin punched him in the mouth early. Got the good yardage on the kickoff based on the penalty, and went right down the field in 6 plays, 65 yards, getting ready to go up 7-0.
Extra point upcoming. It's up and good from Carter Brown, and just like that, a hot start on senior day for the Franklin Grizzlies. Takes them just 2 minutes and 10 seconds to make it 7-0 on top of Rose-Hulman. It's the Heartland Game of the Week on IndianaSRN and HCAC.tv.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
Kai Ross comes away with 2 pass completions for 47 yards total, and then 2 yards to get it into the end zone. Hurry-up offense pays off for the Grizzlies. They have an early lead, 7-0.
Now it's Rose-Hulman's turn to try and answer.
Kickoff return right, set up for their return man, and it's a good one. For Rose-Hulman, across midfield, Daniel Hury shakes one defender. He's inside the 45 and finally brought down at the 43-yard line. A great return from Daniel Hury, the sophomore from Katy, Texas.
That's the response that the Fighting Engineers needed. Oh, you went down and scored on us? Okay, we're going to give ourselves in this offense great field position at your 43-yard line. Andrew Dion, the offense, ready to roll.
Ends up being a 47-yard return for Hury. Now here's the offense. Dion. First play is a give to Welshans, and the defense is there for Franklin. A stop and a loss on the play, and leading the charge appeared to be Cody Wilkerson, the junior linebacker.
There's that top-ranked run defense in the conference. 96 is Jaira Ohada, the leading sacker.
Dion this time will pass. It's out to Hury again, who just had the great return, and again, nothing doing, just a yard this time for Dion over to Hury.
Evan Stanball on that tackle, and they tried the rub route too, just like Franklin did. However, Franklin read it perfectly and stuffed it as we got 3rd and long now.
And you can see fired up is the Franklin defense after consecutive stops of no gain.
Corner blitz.
They bring 5. Dion stands in the pocket over the middle of the field into coverage. 2 guys there, and the pass falls incomplete. Give the deflection to Evan Stanball, the defensive back from Lebanon.
I think there was some confusion there, as you can see Dion talking to Noah Thomas in double coverage, but Ty Saliu was open down the field on the right-hand side. And just like that, 3 and out. Franklin's got the big mo on their side early.
Dion pointed out the blitz, and picking up well was the offensive line, just throwing it into coverage. 2 guys there. The other one for Franklin appeared to be Gervasio Mitchell. First punt of the ball game, end over end from Rose-Hulman, and catching it at the 15-yard line is Jarrett Gibson.
Okay, 1 drive in the books for each squad. Franklin scored. Rose punted. Now let's see what the defense of the Fighting Engineers can do here on this 2nd drive against a very confident Grizzlies offense.
Both sides look tremendous. Took just 6 plays for the Grizzlies to score, and then the defense, they were on the field for just 3 plays. A 3 and out and a punt from Rose-Hulman. Deeper field position this time for Franklin, but Kai Ross and the offense back out there for their 2nd drive. Option, give. Going backwards is Cora. Loss of about 4 yards on the run.
That's what Rose-Hulman wants to do, is to put Franklin into downs where they have to pass. They can rush the passer with the 5 DBs that they've got: Miller, Brown, Amonquo, Roberts, and Dorsey.
Able to force him backwards was Tyler Smith, the linebacker for Rose-Hulman. 2nd down and 14. Ross into the air. Pass is complete. Elijah Corwin on a slant route gets close to the line of gain, picking up 13, 3rd down and 1.
Great route there by Corwin, the tight end. That's what they list him as. But 3rd and short's where you want to be if you're the Grizzlies.
Corwin's a big body at 6'4", went to Seymour High School. Now checking towards the sideline is Ross on this 3rd down and 1. They give it to Cora, trying to stretch it outside, get the edge. He dives for the sticks and may have got it. We'll see where they mark him out. Actually, he lost a yard. It appears Cora, according to the referee, stepped out of bounds before he made that dive.
Did a great job of getting some penetration and forcing him to the outside. He tried to dive for the sticks, but apparently he did step out of bounds early.
And great shot there by Justin, our cameraman upstairs. So after that loss on the first play for Cora, able to get most of it back with the completion of Corwin, but still punting unit out there for Franklin for the first time, and nearly blocking it is Rose-Hulman. A great punt. Forces a fair catch made by Rose-Hulman at the 35 as Jalen Hobbs is back there on the punt return.
We'll see what this second drive then has in store for the Fighting Engineers. Defensively, did much better stopping the run there and forcing a punt from Franklin. Now let's see what the Grizzlies can do on defense. Again, great first drive for them. 3 and out for this high-powered offense of Rose-Hulman. Some confusion on defense.
They bring a man in motion as Rose-Hulman. They'll fake it to him and now give it up the middle, and he's got room to move. Through the middle, it's Shane Welshans again. His first run went for nothing, but this time he's able to pick up 13.
Aaron Black on the tackle, the junior from Greensburg, Indiana. Nice fake of the jet sweep, then give it to Welshans right into the hole.
Black leads the Franklin defense in total tackles with 49. Short pickup this time as Dion completes the pass to his receiver. That's Alex Grescock. Second down now and 7. Back to the run game. Nothing doing again. Gain of nothing for Welshans.
We talked about this earlier. You got to keep the defense honest. So even though they're not getting much yardage here running the football, you have to do it to be able to set up the play action and plays later on in the football game.
Another third down upcoming. They went 3 and out on their last drive. Dion has 2 receivers towards his right. He looks left initially, now comes back right, flushed out of the pocket, and connects with his receiver. At the 40-yard line, making the catch is Adam Taisaliu.
Boy, that was a fantastic job by Welshans picking up Ojada, who had broke through and was breathing down the neck of Dion, but Welshans got a piece of him long enough to let Dion get that pass off and get the first down.
Picking up 11, Adam Taisaliu. Welshans again and again. The run defense for Franklin is not having what Rose-Hulman is giving him. Making the tackle that time was Nick Winders.
And Aaron Black again. We mentioned this before. Number 1 run defense in the conference is Franklin. They tried the fake jet sweep again. First time it got him a big chunk of yardage. This time the Grizzlies sniffed it out.
On second down and 9, we'll have 3 receivers towards the top of your screen. 5-step drop for Dion. He feels the pressure, and he's going to go down. Sack on the play for Franklin's number 62, Tanner Swindle, the senior from Sheridan, and he had some help.
There was a lot of guys in there. Dion tried to step up into the middle, but there was nothing there. And they just collapsed on him and took him down, and now it's 3rd and very long for the Fighting Engineers.
Ojada was in there to help clean things up towards the end as well, the leading sack getter in the Heartland Conference. 3rd down and very long. 17 to go. Dion over the middle of the field has his man Taisaliu, a bobbling catch,
Ooh.
But he does bring it down. Appears to be half a yard, maybe a yard short of the first down.
That's an impressive catch because he got smacked. They had 3 deep safeties out there, and the pass rush got into Dion, but 4th and very short here. This call is going to be very, very interesting.
Taisaliu taking a shot immediately as he caught it from Stambaugh. 4th down and 1. Franklin shows blitz. They will give it to Welshans, and he takes the defender with him. Only needed a yard, and he got 2.
Aaron Black was there again, but getting through that first little wave of the defensive line, they sealed it off there on the right-hand side and gave him enough room to get the first down.
New set of downs now for Rose-Hulman. Well put together drive here so far.
we can see why Black is their leading tackler. He's everywhere so far.
Dion may have been picked off. No, referee rules it's incomplete. The Franklin sideline wants an interception. But first of all, I mean, how do you even make that catch if you're Mitchell? He is on the ground, and it looked like he only needed his left arm.
Yeah. Great play by Gervasio Mitchell, a freshman from Jeffersonville, Indiana.
Mitchell thought he had it, but I think it ultimately does hit the turf and fall incomplete. Second down, Dion looking back that way, but comes back towards his right, and he has his man hooking up with Thomas. Picks up yards after the catch down to the 11-yard line. It's a pickup of 17.
I think we're going to see that a lot more from Dion. He just rolled out a little bit to his right to give himself some more time to throw the football and found Thomas open, and now it's 1st and goal for the Fighting Engineers.
Dion has had some long completions on this drive, 11, 16, and now 17. First down and goal to go from the 6.
I sense a run here.
Dion will keep it. Looking for guys in the flat towards the back of the end zone. Trying to make an acrobatic catch is Thomas, but he was out of bounds, and that pass falls incomplete.
I think there might have been some confusion there. It looked like Grisak came across, too, in front of him.
Yeah,
thinking it might have been for him.
In the same area. You sense the run. They ended up pulling 2 offensive linemen, it appears, but didn't give it to Welshans. Still 2nd and goal. Some movement. Could be offsides against Franklin. Owen Ogle jumped across.
I think the judge, it's a false start.
Looks like Ogle was drawn offside, so false start, first penalty of this ball game.
It gives them a little more room to work with on the passing game. You kind of like that when you're down there so close. There's not a ton of room to adjust any routes.
So now they'll back things up at the 11. Fighting Engineers looking to pass again. Fade back to the end zone and just out of the reach of Tice Salio, who had a step on the DB. That was Wyatt Carmack.
He did have some space.
And we are a couple of days after Halloween, but we do get the Halloween theme
I
music
love it.
as it's 3rd down. Sometimes you get Hell's Bells or a few other different songs you might hear on 3rd down. Here at Fott Stadium, it's the Halloween theme.
I just hope there's no Michael Myers on either one of these squads.
3rd down, Dion rolls out to his left. Tipped ball, incomplete as it hits the turf, trying to make an adjustment for the catch for Rose-Hulman was Jalen Hobbs in the back of the end zone.
You know, the defensive backs of Franklin done a great job. It seems like Dion's throwing the double coverage quite often so far this afternoon and in for a field goal. It is Brett Tuttle.
His initial target was Noah Thomas as Jonathan Oliger is in. He's the field goal kicker for Rose-Hulman. This one from 28 yards out, and it's through the uprights and good. So Rose-Hulman gets on the board with this drive, and they now make it a 7-3 ball game. 5:11 left to go in this first quarter from Franklin College. It's the Heartland Game of the Week on IndianaSRN.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Back at Fott Stadium. Grizzlies defense has looked tremendous, although Fighting Engineers do get on the scoreboard. Franklin limits them to just a field goal. 7-3 our ball game. Kickoff from Tuttle. It's going to be returned by Franklin from the 5. This is Derek Thompson. Thompson able to get across the 30 to about the 32 or 33 yard line. Down on the sideline, we have the third member of our broadcast team, Troy Daragowski.
It's good to be with you here today. I tell you what, the opening of this game, really exciting, and Franklin is all business coming into this one here today, watching Coach Alan Hensel on the sidelines, not a smile on his face until after that first drive in which they went down and scored, and the defense has played really well.
And we got a chance to meet Coach Hensel over the summer, and like Troy said, Coach Hensel, all business, as most football coaches are, you can imagine. But for Coach Hensel, it's pretty simple. Football is life in the Hensel household.
Football is life. Well, Michael Stevens, you don't see many middle linebackers with the speed that he had to run down Ross there for a loss. He just was like shot out of a cannon.
It is a loss of 3 yards after the keeper from Ross. Now 2nd and 13, they'll give it to Cora. Tries to bounce it outside the left hash, and nothing do it there as he's stopped by Rose-Hulman's Tyler Smith. We've called his name now a couple times.
And Pete Cross did a great job there, too, the junior from Bowling Green, Kentucky. Filled that gap and gave him nothing, and it's 3rd and long for Franklin.
A situation the Grizzlies haven't been in yet. It is 3rd down, 3rd and 13. They have the football at the 29, 3 receivers towards the top. Ross looks to the lone receiver side, going deep for a second time, and trying to connect with them is Dylan McKinney. They were able to go for 29 yards on their first drive, but this time, pass is going to be incomplete.
Tice Miller with the coverage there, the junior from Bargersville, Indiana, and Riley Roberts came in from the right side. A safety blitz there made him throw it early. A lot of people wanted some interference here on the Franklin side, but good coverage by Miller.
Now for the second time back to punt for Franklin is Dylan Boswell. Boswell from Jennings County, Butlerville, Indiana. End over end kick. Hobbs is there, and he stumbles down after he hauls it in at the 31. Another great kick from Boswell.
We saw Boswell when we got here. He was the only one on the field, and he was letting out some bombs. Kid's got a great leg.
Relation to Chris Boswell, perhaps?
It's entirely possible. I mean, well, is Chris Boswell
it's a stretch.
Butlerville, Indiana, you know?
There's not very many
Boswells. But isn't he a place kicker and not a punter? Okay.
He's a place kicker.
Franklin's defense has played well so far today. Let's see what they can do now. 3rd time around.
Drive number 3, going deep. It's Hobbs with a little push-off, trying to create some space. No call from the official, but his pass still hits the turf, incomplete.
Boy, they are letting them play in the secondary today.
Just one penalty to talk about the entire game, and it was a false start. We'll get another look at it as this deep pass down the sideline goes to Hobbs.
I think the defender, as he went up for it, got him in his line of sight.
For the first time on this carry is Raperta as he lowers his shoulder and picks up 8 yards on 2nd and 10.
Cody Wilkerson from Chesterton, Indiana on the tackle, number 8.
Wilkerson coming into this one second on the team in tackles. 45 total, and he's added now a couple in this first quarter.
No huddle offense, getting guys in the right spots there for Dion as he makes the call at the line of scrimmage.
A tight end and a wing towards the right side, and somebody jumped off sides, but he got back.
How did he not make contact with anybody? That's crazy.
It's going to be close to a first down. Raperta may have gotten it. He's right at the sticks, and the far side official is signaling that it is enough for a first.
I mean, he literally went between the center and the guard, and I don't know how he did not get any contact there. Normally they call that.
For Franklin, that was Swindle. He's on the left side of the center. And that time, Rose-Hulman going towards the right side of the line of scrimmage. New set of downs for the Fighting Engineers. They're at the 41.
Dion put the glove on his throwing hand.
Quick hitter, Daniel Hury, gets away from the first tackler and is able to pick up 5. Hury has that shiftiness a lot of these Rose-Hulman receivers do, and when you have them with the football out in open space, it could be dangerous.
It could be, but look who made the tackle. Ojeda from his defensive end position, and his speed came back and snagged Hury there for a minimal gain.
Hury now moves to the opposite end of the field. He's in the right slot. Back to the run game, and Ruperta. A different style back is Ruperta compared to Welshan's, a much bigger body to try and handle. Sophomore's 5'10", 200. And Welshan's is also 5'10", 200, but Welshan's seems to be much more of a speed back when Ruperta is in between the tackles, downhill runner.
Yeah, Wilkerson and Black there with the tackles. The linebackers are playing really well for Franklin today.
They fake the give. Dion on a slant, and if that tackle isn't made, it could be 6 as Jalen Hobbs picks up his first reception. And a new first down for Rose-Hulman.
Great little dig route there on the inside from him, and quickly we're back at it.
It's Ruperta who gets outside the tackles this time and is only able to come away with 1 yard.
Ooh, and Jason Pigg got dinged there, and he couldn't even make it to the sideline, even though he was really close.
Injured player on the field for Franklin. With 1:24 left in the first quarter, we'll take a break. Rose-Hulman driving now into Franklin territory. Back to action in the middle of a deep throw down the field to Thomas, and it's just off his fingertips. Pigg was able to get back to the sideline under his own power for Franklin, so that's good to see for the Franklin defense.
Yeah, considering he was down literally on the sideline right there. Made for the quick break.
Dion now 5 of 11 through the air and facing another 3rd down and long, 8 yards. Rolling out to his left, Dion. Corner route towards Hury, and he makes a great catch with just the fingertips. That's all he needed. And they go from the 38-yard line inside the 20 to the 16 now.
That's what they like to call dropping it in the bucket, because there were 3 guys in an area, and Dion had 1 space to put it in, and that's exactly where he put it.
Now into the red zone is Rose-Hulman. They pick up 22 yards with Hury. That was his 3rd catch. Going far side, wide open for the reception and the touchdown. It's Noah Thomas. And Rose-Hulman now takes the lead from 16 yards out. Dion finding Thomas wide open in the end zone.
Looking for that one-on-one matchup. Thomas had it. He's the guy that Dion loves to go to. Got some space, great throw, great catch, and just like that, it's going to be 9-7 with the extra point looming for the Fighting Engineers.
2nd reception for Thomas. He now has 33 yards receiving, and that's his 7th touchdown on the year for the Fighting Engineers, and that leads the team in that category. Extra point from Oliger is up and in, and it's now a 10-7 ball game with the Fighting Engineers on top. They take the lead for the first time with just 41.8 left to play in this first quarter. The leading passing team in the Heartland Conference strikes. This time, Andrew Dion connects with Noah Thomas from 16 yards out. And the Fighting Engineers now take the lead.
8 first downs for Rose-Hulman to 3 for Franklin, and I believe all 3 of those were on their first drive.
Trying to get a good return to set up another offensive possession for Franklin. As he gets to the 25, Derek Thompson again, another return. 37.8 seconds left to play, back to the touchdown.
Again, one-on-one coverage there, just threw it to the corner. The safety couldn't get over in time, and it's a touchdown for the Ben Davis graduate, Noah Thomas.
May just see 1 or 2 plays to finish out this quarter from Franklin. Kai Ross back out onto the field. Moves Thompson from his right to his left, and it is a give to Thompson, who just had the kickoff return. He's only going to come away with 1 yard on his first carry.
6'2" sophomore from Brownstown Central High School. Again, Franklin's roster very Indiana heavy, whereas Rose-Hulman across the United States, because of their engineering programs, love the diversity.
You look down this roster from Franklin, and it takes you a while to find a non-Indiana kid. And right now the Grizzlies are going to come back to their sideline, switch sides of the field, and we'll enter the second quarter. The Heartland game of the week right now, 10-7 our score, with the Fighting Engineers on top as we enter the second quarter of play on IndianaSRN and HCAC.TV.
Hi, I'm Lori Heights, and I'm the owner of the Red Pepperoni Pizzeria in Madison, Indiana. When you see the Red Pepperoni, you see this great building, an old gas station that we renovated. We want to let you know that all of our ingredients are fresh, hand-cut every day. Our dough is made fresh every day. It's hand-tossed to perfection, and you can create your own pizza, or you can choose from one of our 20 specialty pizzas. I think our clients love the fact that we're a family-owned business. The best advice that's ever been given to me: if you work hard and you're in your business every day working, it will pay off. I want our customers to feel satisfied after they leave here and happy that they had a great dining experience, they had great service, and that they enjoyed a great meal with their family and their friends. We can't wait to see you at the Red Pepperoni in Madison, Indiana.
Welcome back to Fott Stadium as the Grizzlies will start off this second quarter with the football at the 25-yard line with Sean Kroll, Jarrett Lewis here on IndianaSRN. Nowhere to go, flushed out of the pocket, and just has to throw it away is Ross. That pass falling incomplete, and that play happened right in front of our sideline man. Back to Troy D.
Tell you what, guys, one thing you'll notice about that last pass, if you go back to what you saw in the Andrew Dion pass, he is really starting to feel much more comfortable against this Franklin defense, and Noah Thomas put that great move on the defensive back, a double move that got him the score, and also see the Rose-Hulman defense putting more pressure on this young quarterback.
Thanks so much, Troy. Back to the air, and connecting is Jared Gibson. A well-thrown ball from Ross, and just like that, into Fighting Engineers territory.
What a great move by Gibson. He was expecting that football on the inside shoulder and then made the quick move to go to his outside shoulder and catch it before he went out of bounds.
The Franklin offense hurrying things up. They'll go back to Gibson. Nothing doing on this play. A quick hitter will pick up just 1 yard. But the previous play, a huge gain. And one of the longest passes that Ross has made so far.
Yeah, except for that first one to McKinney on that first drive. They needed a big chunky yardage like that to get them into Rose-Hulman territory.
Ross had a 29-yard pass to McKinney. And that one went for 29 as well to Gibson. Gibson's third catch. He's already at 48 yards receiving on the season for Gibson. Leads the team in receptions, then it's not even close. He has 47. McKinney, the second guy, with 23.
Yeah, Gibson is definitely the go-to guy for this offense, and Dane Andrews. But again, he's not playing today, and Kai Ross, the freshman, is.
Ross meshes with Thompson. Towards the left side, picking up 3 yards is Derek Thompson. It'll set up a 3rd down and 6.
He averages 4 yards a carry on 87 rushes this year, 44 yards per game for the sophomore.
Let's see the Grizzlies offense go back to the air, this time on 3rd and 6. Ross will have Thompson in the backfield with him to his right. 2 receivers on both sides.
2 deep safeties.
Deflected at the line, and the pass falls incomplete for Rose-Hulman. Tyler Smith again gets the pass deflection.
The junior from Spring, Texas, great job getting in there and deflecting it, although the pass coverage was spot on there, and not sure it would have got many yards at all had the reception been completed.
You could see Smith on the edge of that line, reading Ross the whole time and trying to time that pass. Boswell back out to punt. High spiraling kick. Will try to take a Franklin bounce, but it lands about 2 yards into the end zone. A good kick from Boswell, but just a little bit too much leg on it this time.
They'll take over at the 20-yard line. And
do have an injured player down for Franklin. Looks to be Noah Ryan for the Grizzlies. Is down at the 45, right where the line of scrimmage was. Rose-Hulman will have things at the 20 when we come back.
You're good at making big announcements.
We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
Dion takes the snap as we're back at action. Outside run, good for 3 yards for Wilshans, who took a pretty extended break, and we saw a lot of Ruperta, but Wilshans back out there.
Some updates from around the conference. Early in the second quarter, Mount St. Joseph 3, Hanover 0. That's a big score. End of the first, Bluffton 3, Manchester nothing. And Anderson leads Defiance 7-0 at the end of one.
Looking to pass this time. He'll dump it down underneath. Out of the backfield is Welshans. He's going to pick up a first down. 10-yard pickup for Dion, who connects with his tailback.
Nice move to fake out the linebacker to get enough yards for the first down. Move the sticks is what you're looking for. You want to, if you're Rose-Hulman, you want to take your time and get it in the end zone and extend that lead here and force Franklin out of some things offensively.
Dion now over 100 yards passing, and he picks up some more here. Right at the sticks, making the catch is Jalen Hobbs. Another 10-yard pickup.
Well, I'll tell you what, Gervasio Mitchell was so close right there, but dropped it in just before he got there for the coverage to Hobbs.
Little fake from Dion, as you could see in the replay. Trying to get the defender to bite, and he does, and he fits it into a window, connecting with Hobbs, who now has 2 catches.
Rolling him out again.
At the sticks again, another first down. 3 consecutive plays that they pick up 10 yards or more. This time it's Tice Saliu.
Franklin's playing a 2 deep safeties, trying to keep the deep ball away. So Rose-Hulman saying, that's fine, you can do that. We'll just eat you up with little dinks and dunks down the field and go all the way down. So Franklin has to make some adjustments defensively to stop that in the middle of the football field.
Rose-Hulman now across midfield. Getting pushed backwards. Nowhere to go is Welshans. A huge loss. 6 yards on the play. And there for Franklin amongst many players, Wyatt Carmack being one of them.
Jason Pigg just came back in the game for Bohas. Good to see him back after he was on the sidelines for a while after getting dinged there in the first quarter.
The initial pushback made by Bo Hess, the linebacker from Martinsville for Franklin, forcing this second down and long. Delayed draw, Dion. It was designed for him the whole way, and now Rose-Hulman's going backwards.
Ojada and Ogle right there said, no, sir, that is not going to happen on our watch. And now it's third and very long for the Fighting Engineers.
The line to gain is the 30, and right now Rose-Hulman sitting at the 49 of Franklin. That makes it third down and 19. Again, get the Halloween theme music out there, but they cut it off as Rose-Hulman's going to opt to take a timeout. Coach Sokol wanting to talk things over. Third and 19 upcoming for the Fighting Engineers when we come back.
Your hauling or moving project has arrived, and College Hunks Hauling, Junk, and Moving has you covered. Honest. Uniformed. Nice. Knowledgeable. Service. College Hunks Hauling, Junk, and Moving.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Andrew Dion, the quarterback, shaken up a little bit for Rose-Hulman. It appeared while we are away that he may be out for this upcoming play, but he is out there for the Rose-Hulman offense. And we'll see what they bring out onto the field for this third down and long.
You got three safeties deep now for Franklin on this play.
Dion looking deep into double coverage, and nearly making the catch is Hury into double coverage like we said, and hit as he tried to make the catch. In coverage was Cody Wilkerson, a linebacker, on the smaller Hury.
He got his hands on the football, made it close. As you'll see, Dion threw into a lot of coverage there, but Hury had a shot at it, couldn't quite snag it, and they'll try and pin the Grizzlies deep here on this punt.
Nick Winders was also back there in coverage for Franklin, and now another punt upcoming from Toller. He stands at the 36, and waiting back to return is Jarrett Gibson.
He's got 6 punts that landed inside the 20 so far this season.
A shaky punt that takes a bounce around the 10, and will take a slight roll in favor of Franklin to the 9-yard line.
We'll make that 7 now inside the 20.
It's pretty good.
That's exactly what you were looking for there. Pin them down deep. Hey, this broadcast is copyrighted by the ESPN-like and the Heartland Collegiate Athletic Conference for the primary use of our audience. The use of pictures, videos, and audio without the express written permission of the HCAC is prohibited. Don't forget, next week, tentatively, we're scheduled to be at Hanover for the Bell game. Who knows how things shake out with the conference championship, but stay tuned to HCAC D3 and IndianaSRN on Twitter to find out.
Could very well be Franklin and Hanover next week for the Bell game, or we could see Rose-Hulman in back-to-back weeks as they try to take a conference championship this year. They will be facing off against Mount St. Joseph at home next week.
They're going to take care of business right here, right now in order for that to be a possibility next week, but IndianaSRN, we know you're always in the game with us, so stick with us.
That's right. Make sure you follow us on Twitter so you're updated on a potential schedule change as this pass goes down the field. A tough window to fit it through, and it falls incomplete, trying to get it to Dylan McKinney.
Tice Miller and Rashad Brown on that coverage. Well, that may have been Dorsey. Cameron Dorsey laid a lick on him.
We'll get another look at it, too. Clean pocket for Ross. And like you see there, a tough window to fit it through those two defenders for Rose-Hulman.
That was a nice ball for Ross, though. He's looked good in a substitute role for Dane Andrews.
Here's a third down. at the sticks. Gibson has the catch. He may be a yard short, though, as he's forced out of bounds at the 18. The line of gain is the 19.
Yeah, Winston Amonqua from Columbus, Ohio. Great coverage. Didn't let him get any space once he snagged the ball out of bounds, and it will be punt time for Franklin. This will be good field position flip for the Fighting Engineers. They got two guys back now trying to set up a return.
Hobbs is one of them, and Hury is the other. They're both standing at the 50.
And both extremely dangerous.
Hobbs and Hury both have kick and punt returns to their name this year. Nice high spiraling punt, but it'll land out of bounds on the Rose-Hulman sideline, and we'll wait to see where the referee marks this one out. He's going to move all the way up to the 45 of Franklin. So great field position upcoming for Andrew Dion and company. We'll see if they can extend this 10-7 lead.
You know, the score is close, 10-7, but you look at the stats. Rose-Hulman has 11 first downs to 4 for Franklin. In time of possession has definitely been in the favor of the Fighting Engineers. Almost 12 minutes to just shy of 9 for the Grizzlies.
Dion is back out there for Rose-Hulman and has Ruperta to his left. Two receivers both sides. As they begin this new drive, pressure from his backside, but able to get rid of it just in time and hook up with Noah Thomas, who has 8 yards. Thomas, 3 catches for 41.
Pressure there won by Dante Darden, number 51 from Logansport. They are getting some pressure on Andrew Dion, which is why he's having to make some quick decisions and go with some checkdowns, if you call them that. For this offense, they are, but great job so far by the Grizzlies' defensive line.
Man in motion is Gressick, and now it's a give up the middle. On 2nd down and 2, just cutting it in half is Ruperta.
You saw the linebackers read the run there, and they shot up in the gaps and didn't give him much because they knew from the formation that Rose-Hulman was going to run the football. Here, though, don't be surprised to see them throw it to get this first down, even though it's 3rd and 2. They're heavy on the left side of the line as well.
Back to Ruperta. A hole up the middle. Great vision by the tailback, and he has plenty enough for a first down. Gets things to the 26 of Franklin.
They lined up the tight end Grisak as an H-back, went heavy on that left side, and Ruperta went right behind them to get that first down.
11 yards on the pickup for Ruperta. And him and Welshans have had equal amount of actions. It's back to Shane. Bounces things outside. Tackled from behind at the 11. A huge pickup for Shane Welshans, who has the ball now inside the 10.
They ran it behind Grisak again as he was heavy on that right side. They're liking him as the H-back, helping with that pass rush. It's allowing them some holes to run the football. This may open things up for them passing as well, Jarrett.
Shane Welshans from Kentucky gets it back again. Nothing to talk about on this play. Just getting back to the line of scrimmage is Welshans.
Running through the middle there did not work. The last 2 plays were to the outside. But those linebackers are coming in, as well as Owen Ogle, who was on that tackle.
Not wasting much time is Rose-Hulman. Dion this time will look to pass. 3-step drop towards the end zone and nearly bringing it down as Thomas. He thought there may have been enough action to call a PI against Franklin.
A lot of hand fighting going on today, and the officials are letting them play. It looked like Owen had his, Noah Thomas had his arm grabbed, but the officials said, not today, young man, we're going to let you go.
Just one penalty to talk about in this entire ball game, and we are a little over halfway through this second quarter now.
You got to think this is 2-down territory for the Fighting Engineers. Again, they want the money that folds, not the money that jingles.
Dion, slant route. It's Thomas. The defender trips up, and Thomas gets into the end zone for the second time now. from 11 yards out. His 4th catch and his 2nd score.
Boy, Gervasio Mitchell was there, but on the move that Thomas made, Mitchell got his feet tangled up and fell down, and that was easy pitch and catch for the Rose-Hulman duo.
And you can see the defender there. He had a shot. Would have been a tough open field tackle to make. But he gets tripped up. It's an easy pitch and catch. And taking it in afterwards is Thomas. He's got 4 catches for 52 and 2 scores. The Rose-Hulman lead is now 10, 17-7 in the Heartland Game of the Week on IndianaSRN.
Myers, Vice President of IndianaSRN. Thanks for joining us. Do you know IndianaSRN broadcasts 350 games a year? All sorts of sports? Yeah, we do. Hard to believe, isn't it? IndianaSRN loves to put student athletes first on our website. If you're a business out there, we probably could help you too. Contact us at coach@indianasrn.org. Grandma from out of state thanks you. Mom and dad who can't get to the game thanks you as well. In fact, our athletes watch the games over and over again. Our military has enjoyed the games as well. So sit back and enjoy the game. It's IndianaSRN.
Brett Tuttle getting set to kick this one off for Rose-Hulman after another score. The first score of this second quarter for either team. And it comes with 7:09 left to play in the second. Thompson, another return. Every kickoff return from Franklin has been set up to go to the right, and nearly every return also has just gotten the Grizzlies out to the 25-yard line. Trying to cut back into this deficit, which is now 10, is Franklin. We'll see the freshman quarterback Kai Ross head back out onto the field, who has been putting together a pretty decent first half for Coach Hensel. Right now he's 5 of 10 for 97 yards passing. We get a whistle, just our second flag of the game before this play gets going. False start going to go against Franklin. That's their first penalty. Rose-Hulman's lone penalty was also a false start.
Yeah, not many flags, like you said, just the second one. But Franklin, after that first drive, has not done much offensively. They need to really get the ball rolling here again, no pun intended.
Down the sideline, Gibson adjusts to the football, and it's going to force a pass interference calling in on Rose-Hulman. The ball was thrown well inside of Gibson, and he had to try to maneuver around the defender of Rose-Hulman to come back for the football.
That's Shaik Husso, and if you're Rose-Hulman and the defender here, what you're seeing is you let us play this entire game, and now you're going to call it, okay, that's fine, but just make sure and call it on the opposite side as well. As, you know, the one thing you want from officials is consistency. So we'll see how that's called from now on, because you know Rose-Hulman is going to be like, all right, we're going to get after it as well. So call it both ways. These officials, though, are fantastic in this conference. As we've seen in these games so far, they do a great job.
So, unfortunately, the guilty party for Rose-Hulman, Decatur Central grad.
Reigning Defensive Player of the Week.
In the Heartland Conference every week. Offensive, defensive, and special teams Players of the Week. And we've seen plenty of Players of the Weeks in our games that we've covered here on IndianaSRN, including Andrew Dion, who captured the award not too long ago.
I think he's won it a couple times. Great play there by Michael Stevens coming in and forcing Garrett Core back to his right and allowing his compadres on this defensive side of the football to come in and hold him to no gain.
Just the 7th time that Core has had a run. Ross trying to make do with something. Pass is going to fall incomplete, trying to get it to his receiver being Jake Tharp. But that play looked to be busted kind of from the beginning.
Yeah, he's lucky. Dorsey didn't get a hand on that because Dorsey had open field in front of him. If the ball was a little bit more behind Tharp, that could have been a pick six the other way. The Big Blues got to get rolling here.
This is 3rd down for Franklin. Continuing to drop back off his back foot. He does get it to McKinley. Limited gain, great open field tackle made for Rose-Hulman as McKinley comes away with 4.
It's a great route because he got open, did McKinney, but man, Winston Amonkwa came up and made a one-on-one tackle that's forcing Franklin to punt again. That senior from Columbus, Ohio, with a great play.
Boswell back out onto the field for the 4th time now. Jalen Hobbs stands at the 25. Everybody up on the line for Rose-Hulman. They bring the pressure, but Boswell gets off a good kick that'll take a decent Franklin bounce out of bounds at the 30.
It's getting chippy out here.
We see some Franklin fans hooting and hollering, and we look in the backfield and see Boswell the punter in the mix with a couple of Fighting Engineers players. Nothing called there, but that has seemed to be a trend in these Heartland games. As the game goes on, just a little bit of chippiness comes into play.
Oh, just wait till next week. Man, if we could have cameras at the Bell game, at Rose-Hulman, Mount St. Joseph, and even Bluffton Defiance, we could see some great stuff going on there.
Yeah, we heard that's a pretty decent rivalry with those two Ohio teams.
We heard that's an intense and very physical rivalry between those squads.
Meanwhile, Welshans picks up 4. Just 3 yards of carry so far for Welshans. Franklin defense has done well in the rushing department, but they've given up 145 passing yards to Dion.
It's a big drive for the Franklin defense. They've got to force Rose-Hulman into a punt here.
Off his back foot, out of the backfield, it's Welshans, who lowers the shoulder and lays down a huge hit and gives a little celebration, showing off the strength with the right arm.
He and Gervasio Mitchell went right at it there. And, whew.
And they're back to hurrying it up. Not before a whistle, and it's going to be a timeout. Coach Hensel wants to slow things down for his Franklin defense. At the 44 is Rose-Hulman, and the Grizzlies will take this timeout, stop the clock with 4:44 left to go in the 2nd quarter.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
Back out of the timeout. Rose-Hulman, new set of downs. Dion, far side of the field. Taisalio out of his reach. A flag does come in, though, from the referee. And the man who took that big hit from Welshans from Franklin, that was Mitchell, and he's going to be the one on the opposite side of the field who picks up this PI.
Yeah, you got to call that one. That's face guarding, and that one was pretty obvious. We've seen now the officiating crew wanting to kind of temper things on the hand fighting and things like that down the field with their receivers and defensive backs, and they've done that. And you knew that was something that Rose-Hulman was going to do. They were going to try and go deep. They did, although it's not a spot foul in college. Makes you wonder. It looked like Dion's hip was what was bothering him earlier. I'm wondering if he's been short on some of these passes. If maybe his rotation with his hip as he plans to throw is bothering him and he can't get enough on it. I'm trying to play a doctor up here. I'm not sure. I did not stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night, in case you're curious.
Rose-Hulman's now at the 41. Ruperta nowhere to go. Getting tackled. And again, Cody Wilkerson is there to make the stop.
He's an absolute beast. I believe he's, second on the team, third on the team in tackles from Chesterton, Indiana.
To be exact, Wilkerson coming in had 45, and he's probably eclipsed the 50 tackle mark so far.
One name we haven't talked about a ton today is Jaira Ohada. Rose-Hulman's done a great job doubling him and not letting him get loose in the backfield.
Right now, he's the defensive end towards the top of the line of scrimmage. Dion, middle of the field, has his man. Thomas reaches out. It's off his right hand. And boy, if Thomas is a step quicker, or if that throw from Dion is just a little bit less thrown on it, that's going to be a touchdown in the third of the game for Thomas.
It looked like he kind of went down into second gear there. Not sure he's going to throw it to him, and then he had to kick it back up and was just out of his reach.
Brings up a 3rd and 12 for Rose-Hulman. The Fighting Engineers will send 3 receivers towards the top.
Blitz coming.
It's a give. Faking out the Franklin defense. It's Welshans. Lays a stiff arm to the 25 and picks up the first down.
Huge stiff arm from Welshans. Got him the extra yardage he needed. And Darden came all the way from his defensive end position to make the tackle. But a huge, great call there by Rose-Hulman with the draw.
You can see that Franklin is going to end up being faked out by the run. And here's another run for Rose-Hulman that gets them to the 10-yard line. 15 yards this time for Welshans. And he's putting together some great long runs here for Rose-Hulman.
Welshans has been fantastic so far today for the Fighting Engineers.
His 12th carry brings him to 65 yards rushing.
5.5 a clip against the best rushing defense in the league is pretty impressive for Welshans.
Back-to-back runs of 18 and 15. 1st and goal to go from the 10. Ruperta is now in the game, and he picks up 5. Welshans and Ruperta combined 20 carries for 92 yards.
And on the opposite side, Franklin only has 9 yards rushing so far in this football game.
The team that normally throws the football is Rose-Hulman. They almost average 300 yards through the air. Dion is halfway to that mark, but the run game has also been more impressive than usual. Back to Ruperta. Bounces off a couple of defenders and gets things down to the 1.
Yeah, no, the one time we've seen Rose-Hulman this year, you know, they did not run the ball with this much effectiveness and at this clip. So, you know, the offensive coordinator for Rose-Hulman, Andrew Freeze, calling a great game.
Making sure things are set and they're in the right formation. Dion, give to Ruperta, second effort. He's going to be marked short. Although he extended out the football with that right arm.
Bringing Welshans back in, you got to believe they're going to hurry up and get it to him, unless this is a case where we see them line up in the shotgun and then Dion run up quick to get under center and do the quarterback sneak.
It's 4th and goal for Rose-Hulman. They're at the 1. Give to Welshans, and an easy touchdown run in for number 1, Shane Welshans, the first player not named Noah Thomas to find pay dirt for the Fighting Engineers. It's now 23-7.
You want to take the heart away from a football team, beat them at something they're good at. Franklin is the first, is the top rushing defense in this conference, and Rose-Hulman saying that's how we're going to take care of you. We're going to beat you at what you're best at. And, man, that's so deflating for a football team. There is still a half of it to go, but, man, oh, man, that's got to be deflating for the Grizzlies.
Extra point up from Oliger. Plenty of leg through the uprights. 24-7 our score. A slow start for Rose-Hulman, but now all of a sudden they have come alive in this second quarter, and they lead 24-7 in our Heartland Game of the Week on IndianaSRN. Isn't too bad. The DJ here isn't too bad.
He's been fantastic.
Back at Fout Stadium, Franklin College. It's now 24-7. 2 touchdowns scored in the second quarter for the Fighting Engineers. And they have prevented Franklin from getting very close. Grizzlies scored and took just 2 minutes and 10 seconds off the clock in the first quarter. But ever since then, Fighting Engineers have held them scoreless.
I think that's what Franklin needs to do here on this drive. Try a big play early and get some more of this momentum back like they did after the opening kickoff.
New returner for Franklin is Zane Downing. The kickoff return coverage for Rose-Hulman has been good, as the Grizzlies haven't really been able to get a drive going outside the 30.
We've seen the ability of Dylan McKinney and Gibson both to get some separation in the secondary, trying to exploit that a little bit with the young quarterback, Kairos. He's thrown some good balls today. See if you can get a couple of big chunks here and get some momentum on your side to get in the end zone before halftime.
Franklin has a minute 13 and 2 timeouts to work with. A big hit. Collision there, trying to get it to Elijah Corwin. But Corwin takes 2 separate hits and falls down, unable to reel in the catch.
Shaiku So on the coverage, and then Michael Stevens comes in to sandwich him, kind of like, you probably won't recognize this, the Malachi Crunch from the Happy Days. Just both sides, pow.
All right, there's your reference that I'm not going to get
it's
for
my
the
old,
game.
My old man reference, okay.
That's the only one you get for the rest of the game.
All right.
Back to the run game. This is Cora picking up 5 yards to the 30-yard line. We'll see how fast Franklin decides to play it.
Your parents will get that, though. I guarantee it.
They're probably listening. They might get it.
There you go. Get a little hurry up going. This is what they need to do.
It is 3rd down and 5, under 50 seconds. And now they'll slow things down. I think Coach Hensel might be okay with, if they don't pick up this 3rd down at least, they will waste some time off the clock and prevent Rose-Hulman from trying to score again, although Cora does pick up a 1st down with this carry.
I think he looked and saw the linebackers were playing a little bit deeper, that they might try and throw it, and once he saw that on that run-pass option, handed it to Cora and got the 1st down. Now they got to get moving again.
New set of downs. Clock starts to wind again. Nice pass play this time. McKinney picks things up, 13 yards for Ross to McKinney, who has his 3rd catch.
6'1" sophomore from Evansville North. Great little out route there to the sidelines. Again, getting that separation, but got out of bounds and stopped the clock. That's important on this drive.
McKinney and Gibson have 7 catches combined for 102 yards receiving. Most of the yardage picked up through the air with Ross, and now he goes back to Gibson. Short gain of just 3. They do get across midfield, and Coach Hensel has to burn a timeout.
Guess who was there? Michael Stevens again on the tackle. That middle linebacker is something else.
Timeout called by Franklin. 14.7 on the clock. They do have one more timeout left to work with. Their place kicker is Carter Brown. So we'll see. At this point, this is just you get into a range for Brown to try to put something up before the end of the half.
2 or 3 in the season as long as 28. What I think I'd like to see is Gibson or McKinney on one of those sideline routes to get out of bounds to give yourself a little more space. I say you take a shot. If you can't get close enough on this play, just take a shot into the end zone. But I think what they can do with McKinney and Gibson and their ability to get separation is give yourself some more room to work with down the field.
DBs are up on the receivers. Trying to go to the out route and maybe had his arms around the receiver. That sideline of Franklin is looking for the call, but they're not going to get it.
Tice Miller from Franklin High School on the coverage.
And the Franklin side of the bleachers, definitely the Franklin faithful. It is a great turnout, first of all.
I'll tell you what.
This environment is incredible.
Tailgate game A+ so far. The best in the league we've seen.
Ross extending the play. Gibson takes a huge hit, but hangs on to the football. He's going to pick up a first down, and it's a quick timeout called by Coach Hensel with 3 seconds left to go. How about Gibson taking the contact and holding on to the football?
Boy, he took a lick there after he caught it and still stayed on his feet.
And Ross taking off. Having to extend the play, that takes off some seconds, but still, you're in range now where you're definitely out of the kicker's range. This is going to be a shot to the end zone or maybe some sort of a trickery we could see in this final 3 seconds last play.
Yeah, this could be one of those plays. In this area, I like the tip drill. You bunch receivers to one side, and then you have another guy come across the field at the end, and the receivers you send down on one side are instructed to tip it to the guy coming across. We'll see what they have drawn up. We'll see what kind of arm Kairos has here too. If he puts how much air he puts under this ball.
Ball spotted at the 35. 3 receivers to the wider side of the field. Gibson, Corwin, and Ryan Poole. Last play, Ross rolling out to his right. Going to be a tough throw to get off at the sideline, and Gibson caught it, but unfortunately he's well short of the end zone at the 4-yard line. Gibson, though, kind of a you got mossed little bit of a play there as he steals it away from the DB.
Yeah, the pressure caused him to roll out and throw on the run. That's a tough throw to make it that distance when you're running to the sideline, but give them credit. Gibson's had a great game so far. 6 receptions for 73 yards. He and McKinney have been very impressive in this first half.
Gibson has over 100 yards receiving, and Ross at 160. So Gibson making up most of the yardage picked up through the air. He is their leading receiver on the year. And just 2 other guys with a catch, Dylan McKinney and Elijah Corwin, as we take one last look at this final play. And with more time and a cleaner pocket, Ross is probably going to be able to get that ball to the end zone. But Gibson, how about the effort and the catch? Actually, referee comes in and rules it incomplete. So that
would be
that play I didn't even realize that. I didn't even catch the referee calling it incomplete. So that play doesn't even count. It's a 24-7 halftime score with the Fighting Engineers on the road with a great second quarter. Noah Thomas has 2 touchdown catches, and Wilshan's added another. And right now, that's the difference. 24-7 our score on Senior Day for the Grizzlies of Franklin College. We now enter into our halftime break. A couple of guests coming up from Franklin College, so make sure you stay tuned for that. It's the IndianaSRN Heartland Game of the Week.
Whether or not you've ever stepped into a church before, you've probably seen one of these, a Bible. It's the most read, most translated, most debated, most placed in a hotel room book of all time, and people have been reading it for thousands of years. And yet, for many of us, the Bible can feel really complex and intimidating. I mean, where do we start? And what does an ancient book have to do with everyday life in Murfreesboro, Tennessee? Well, there's a million different ways to start trying to get a better understanding of the Bible. You can read it on your own, study it with others, or even come to a service in Three Crosses or New Harvest Sanctuary to hear people teach about it. Heck, you can even take some classes about the Bible across I-24 at MTSU. But this year at World Outreach, we're going to try something a little different. We're going to dive in and look at the Bible as one great big story, to get to know the characters and storylines like we would if we were watching an epic movie. We're going to take a journey together along the timeline of this great story. Our hope is, in the end, that we'll see the Bible in new ways, that the story would come to life and change us, that we'll find that we truly have a mighty source in the Bible. So sit back, take a deep breath, and get ready, because here we go. The narrative of the Bible starts with God. The Bible is an unfolding drama about God and about what God is doing on planet Earth. The story begins with Earth in chaos and God beginning to bring order to that chaos. Over the course of 6 days, God spoke and our world began to take shape. Each day, God would stop and look at whatever was created, clouds or grass or mountains or raccoons, and think, that's good. The world was perfect, just as God intended it to be. Then, on the 6th day, God decided to make a creature called man by scooping up some dirt from the earth and breathing life into it. God named him Adam. God placed Adam in a garden that was full of plants and animals. Then, God told Adam it was his job to take care of everything in the garden, even to name each and every one of the animals. In the garden were 2 unique trees, the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. God told Adam to eat anything from the garden, except for the fruit that came from the tree of knowledge. As you're probably already aware, the story doesn't end there. At some point, God decided it wasn't good for man to live alone. God wanted a suitable companion and helper for Adam, but nothing else God had created so far did the trick. So God caused Adam to fall into a deep sleep and pulled a rib out of his body, using it to form another creature. God called this creature woman and named her Eve. After doing all this amazing work, God took a break on the 7th day. God gave a special blessing on this day of the week, setting it apart to be different than the other 6 days. Adam and Eve lived in the garden, enjoying a perfect relationship with one another. They lived perfectly with their surroundings, taking care of the earth as God had told them to. And they had a perfect relationship with God, spending time with God each day. Talk about mighty. That's some pretty amazing stuff God did. Not a bad start to the story, huh? Life, for now, was just as God had intended it to be.
And welcome back again to Franklin College, where at halftime, Rose-Hulman on top 24-7. President Kerry Prather. If you recognize that name, I said president first instead of head basketball coach because he has transitioned to be the president here at Franklin College. I was joking with you a little bit ago. What do you like most? Is it more difficult to be the head basketball coach or the president of the school?
The stakes are much higher in this position than the 38 years I spent coaching basketball. So, but I'm enjoying the work very much.
Good. Do you miss the basketball side a lot, or?
Honestly, that's a common question, and the fact is, I haven't had time to. What I inherited. The situation itself, which was unique, and then immediately following that, the COVID epidemic, it's just been a whirlwind. So I really haven't had a chance to think about it that much. I attended some games last year, was the only fan in the stands at a couple of those, and started to get wound up about shot selection or something else that I saw on the court. And then I reassured myself that was no longer my problem, so I could just go back home and do another 3 or 4 hours of work.
Yeah, didn't tense up a little bit or anything,
A
right?
little bit, but I got over it.
Yeah, and I mentioned to you being from Richmond, I watched you coach many, many times over the years you had been there, and just from the standpoint of that intensity and everything, I know that athletics being so big here at Franklin College, talk a bit about what it means to be a student athlete at this school.
Well, obviously, athletics is really important from a number of different standpoints, not the least of which is enrollment. So we've grown, I think, when I came here, we had maybe 12 sports. We now have 21.
Wow.
Men's and women's sports, 11 for women and 10 for men. It's about 44% of the student body engaged in intercollegiate athletics, and so that's a part of it, but also just culturally, it's such a big part of the life of a small college campus. And a day like this, a beautiful fall day with the leaves turning, and what we hope is going to turn into a great football game here in the second half. This is about as good as it gets, so very important for us. And of course, so many lessons to be learned in athletics to go along with what goes on in the classroom, and that's the reason we do this. It's an educational experience as well as a competitive one. So we're very proud of the athletic program, very proud of the success we've had, and feel like it's integral to the whole mission of the school.
Well, you have to be very proud too that you can not only put a competitive product out there, that the product, not only the product itself, but the great student athletes come out here, because it takes a lot to be a student athlete. And let's face it, these days it's not an easy thing.
That's absolutely true, and what we find is our athletes in season tend to excel academically, because part of what you have to learn is time management, prioritization. Sometimes we've got to remind them of that in the off season when they're not quite as regimented with the whole list of responsibilities. But the teamwork, the collaboration, the communication, all of those things are a really good practical education and skills that are going to be necessary in their careers, irrespective of what that career may be.
Listen, I miss seeing you on the sidelines. Thanks for stopping by here, and good luck and congratulations on everything.
Thanks very much. Appreciate you having me.
We'll be back with more in a halftime report right here on IndianaSRN. Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
My name is John Heitz, and I own the Red Pepper Deli in Madison, Indiana. We've been in business for 15 years now. I'm so passionate about food is because I like to cook and I like to create awesome items. The best advice that has ever been given to me was from my father, who said, you've got to work hard, and if you work hard, you will succeed. He's right. It's not always going to be fun, but don't even try to go into business if you're not going to put 100% into it. The ideal experience is for the customer to come in and be really wowed by the atmosphere, be wowed by the products that we serve, the food in our deli case, the sandwiches and salads, soups that we make. I want the client to feel satisfied and really feel that they've got their money's worth and have enjoyed everything that they've had at the restaurant. Whenever you get a chance, we'd love to see you stop by the Red Pepper Deli in Madison, Indiana. Look forward.
Back here at Franklin College, it is halftime. We just got a chance to talk with the president, Carrie Prather. Now we're going to talk with the athletic director, Andy Hendricks, who, by the way, has been running around here busy. I mean, these days, though, it's kind of fun, though. I know it's tiring, but it's got to be kind of fun.
Oh, it's fun. The thing I think looking forward to the most was getting out here for football this year, and it's been, as we were saying at the beginning, it was a long time coming.
Yeah.
And just the atmosphere here at Franklin is, I think, very, very unique, especially within Division III, and you can see it every weekend at home games. And homecoming was wonderful, and I mean, thousands of people out here. And today, we couldn't ask for better weather. And it's just been a joy to be out here with these fans and young men and the great alumni that come back every game.
Yeah, I bet. There's no. I don't think you can top this atmosphere. What you see here today.
It's awesome.
Talk about the fall season as a whole. Then we know a little bit about what's been happening with the football, but talk about some of the other programs.
Yeah, I mean, coming out of COVID, I think we all had some anxiousness on what the outlook was for each team. I think we were in a situation where you've got 2 years of new parents and new fans and new players that accumulated, and so you're teaching a much bigger group and educating a much bigger group than you might be 1 year at a time. Yeah. So it went great. I think we really stepped it up in some of the smaller individual sports like cross country and things of that nature. They had a really good showing last week at the HCAC championships. They'll be running in the regional national meet next week that we're hosting out here at Shelbyville, Blue River Park. Volleyball wrapped up. Both soccers made the HCAC tournament. The men's team hosted the first ever HCAC tournament match in Franklin history. Yeah. So that was cool. Yeah. Just that we were seeing that incremental progress, I think, is really important to us. And we have a very young staff. Yeah. So they're excited. They want to win. Winning with integrity is a big part of our program. And we're here to be educators first. Yeah.
Hey, and there's such a respect, though, for Franklin. I always have. I mean, just talk about that respect because you guys have earned it for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that we talk about that often, and certainly our coaches, live that each and every day. As we often say, we don't live through our players, we live with them. Yeah. And each of our coaches had great careers themselves as student athletes, and they get to impart some of that wisdom on these young men and women, and it's really exciting to be around here and be a Grizzly because there's just so much pride in that. Yeah.
Yeah, you ready for the winter?
Yeah, it's already started. Basketball's rolling. We've been swimming now this is end of week 7, and we just swam Hanover this morning, and we had Asbury and Bluffton last night, so it's been very busy.
I bet. Andy, good to see you.
Thanks
for stopping by.
Wonderful.
All right, appreciate
you being
it as always.
Here. Thanks, Troy.
Gang will be back in a couple of moments. We will as well. This is Indiana SRN.
My name is Brittany. A little thing I love about the Egg White Grill is the toasty English muffin. It's toasted perfectly. It's just a little crispy, but not like hard crispy, but just crispy enough that when you bite into it, everything is perfect.
My name is Curtis, and I love the Egg White Grill because the egg itself, it's like soft and fluffy, like a pillow. I wouldn't eat my pillow, but I'd eat the Chick-fil-A breakfast egg white sandwich for sure.
They say nice guys don't finish first. So maybe it's time to reconsider what it means to be first.
It's about being your best, but knowing you could be even better.
It's being present, but respectful of history.
You sure you want to make that move?
It's donating something more valuable than money.
It's believing in yourself and something bigger.
It's coming from different families, but treating each other like brothers.
It's not just being a man, it's being a Mason.
Welcome back to Franklin College. Halftime score 24-7. Rose-Hulman on top. The Fighting Engineers trying to stay undefeated and move to 6-0 in conference play and sit alone on top of the Heartland Conference. But first they got to get through the Grizzlies right now. Great first half of play for the Fighting Engineers. They lead at 24-7 with Sean Kroll, Jarrett Lewis here for the Heartland Game of the Week, our 6th week. Next week will be our last week. It has gone by so fast, but we have enjoyed our time covering the Heartland Conference. And another great game for you here this afternoon from Fott Stadium. Looking at the first half numbers, a couple of things that stick out to me, Sean, is the difference in running the football. Rose-Hulman has, like you said, a couple times throughout the game, they have taken what Franklin has been able to stop for most of this season, and they just said, we're going to bring our best to you. We're still going to pound this run game to you. And right now they haven't really been able to stop it too much. 85 yards on 25 carries to just 20 yards picked up for Franklin.
Yeah, after that first drive from Franklin, they really haven't done much offensively. Credit the defensive coordinator, Jeffrey Stanton of Rose-Hulman, as he made some great adjustments after that first quick drive. Not even 2 minutes in, it was Franklin up 7-0, and it's been all Rose-Hulman since then. You know, one of the things that I think has stood out for me in watching this game, not a ton of huge chunks downfield for Rose-Hulman. It's been dink dunk, get 5 yards on the ground, move the sticks, keep moving the sticks, and then you get the one play which gets you in the end zone. It would not surprise me to see them maybe try some big hitting plays here in the second half as they start with the ball in the second half to really try and start to at least tap a nail in a coffin, so to speak. Franklin needs to bow up defensively and stop them right here and get a 3-and-out, and then come out. You're sure that they did some adjustments at halftime. They've made some adjustments at halftime offensively to see what they can do with their freshman quarterback.
It was a 10-7 ball game with Rose-Hulman on top after the end of one, but 14 unanswered points in the second quarter for Rose-Hulman, and they really brought things out and were meshing well offensively in that quarter to make the lead now 24-7. A couple of other scores across the Heartland Conference.
Yes, at halftime, Bluffton leads Manchester 17-0. Anderson leads Defiance 14-7 at halftime. And in Mount St. Joseph at halftime, 10-0 Mount St. Joseph. Late TD run by Josh Taylor, who's back on the field today, has that a close game. Keep an eye on that one too, as this conference championship is coming down to the wire.
And Mount St. Joseph is most definitely going to want to win that game this afternoon to give themselves a chance next week against Rose-Hulman, which very well could be the conference championship game here if the Fighting Engineers can hold on in this one. Right now, up 24-7, and the second half is getting closer to getting underway here from Fott Stadium. A couple other things that stick out to me, Sean, from that first half. Time of possession, 18 minutes and 15 seconds is what Rose-Hulman had it at, which is almost a 7-minute difference between them and Franklin. So holding on to the football and kind of having these extended, long, drawn-out drives.
Yeah, and that's complete opposite of what we saw in the previous game we had the Fighting Engineers in Manchester. They had quick hit scores. They didn't have the ball that long. Manchester, I think, had more time of possession than Rose-Hulman did. But Rose-Hulman scored so quickly in those games. It bodes well for their offense. And again, you know, what they've done offensively with Coach Freeze to adjust to what Franklin does and chew up time as well as yardage in those long drives to get scores.
Shane Wilshans capped off the second quarter with a 1-yard touchdown run with just 1 minute and 19 seconds left, and now kind of a double dip situation here. You love that touchdown from Wilshans because if you're Rose-Hulman, now you get the second half kickoff.
Yeah, and third down, Franklin needs to be better on third down, only 3 of 8 so far, while Rose-Hulman 7 of 12.
Red zone efficiency was impressive from the Fighting Engineers as well. 4 trips, 4 scores. And that led to 24 first half points. This return made out by Hobbs for the Fighting Engineers gets things to the 26-yard line.
In the first half, you know, Dion took a hit late and kind of looked like he had some issues with maybe his hip. And he did come back and play with that and threw the ball decently. Let's see what he does after maybe getting some treatment here at halftime. See if they start and keep the run game going, or they try and go deep early.
Dion finished the first half, 150 passing yards. We'll start things off here with a give up the middle to Wilshans. His first half was pretty impressive so far. An early candidate, I would say, possibly for the player of the game. He's right up there for Rose-Hulman.
Yeah, as we look at the defense of Franklin, actually Jairo Ojada has the most tackles, 3 today. Linebackers have played great.
Dion deep down the field. Taisaliu can't come up with it. A couple of times now, Dion's long passes have just been off the fingertips.
It looked like Taisaliu stumbled just a little bit coming out of that route, and that may have cost him, as that was a great ball from Andrew Dion.
The exact numbers from the first half for Dion, 15 of 25 for 175 and 2 touchdowns. Both of those going to Noah Thomas.
Linebackers coming up to blitz.
3rd down and 6. There is Thomas. Gets away from the first defender. Takes a couple of big knocks, but he gets to the 46-yard line. A huge pickup on 3rd down and 6.
Again, something different we've seen from Rose-Hulman. Pocket passer was Dion against Manchester. They've rolled him out a lot today to get away from that pass rush of Ojeda.
16 yards for Thomas, his 5th reception. And now picking up another reception is Hury. Catch number 4 for Daniel, and he has 9 yards.
And they're not wasting any time getting right back up to the line of scrimmage and trying to keep Franklin off their toes and confused in trying to make changes as the offense lines up in their formation.
With that pass, Dion now at 200 yards passing. Back to the run game. This is Will Shands. He's going to pick up a 1st down. Only needed 1 yard.
Again, what Franklin's doing is they're playing the 2 deep safeties because they don't want the big ball to beat them, but that's allowing Rose-Hulman to get some penetration, get through that first wave, that defensive line, and get some good yards rushing. Again, great offensive game plan from Coach Freeze.
From the 43, Dion fakes the give. Intercepted! Read it all the way. It's Franklin across the 40 and tripped up across the 45-yard line. Interception for Evan Stambaugh, the senior from Lebanon. A huge play, and into double coverage, Dion gets picked.
Yeah, he laid this one right into him as he came in with the double coverage, thought he was single covered, but the safety came from the other route there, and Stambaugh picked it off, and that's a huge turnover for the Grizzlies. They have to get points on this drive.
The first turnover of the game for either team, and it's an interception from Andrew Dion. Evan Stambaugh coming away with it. Tripped up behind the line of scrimmage. This time is Cora, and no gain on the play.
Looked like he tripped over his own feet, had a pretty good hole right there. Couldn't quite get through it.
Total rushing yards for Franklin in that first half, just 20. Cora had 8 carries, for 11 yards. They'll swing it out. Gibson, well behind the line of scrimmage. And nice downhill tackling made there by Rose-Hulman's number 24, that being Rashard Brown.
6-foot junior from Columbia, South Carolina, read that all the way, ran him down, and now you're in 3rd and long here after being tripped up on that first run.
Gibson with an impressive first half, 6 catches, 73 yards, but that time going backwards for 2. 3rd down and 12 for Franklin. You would love to get a conversion here, extend this drive, and like you said, Sean, end up with points off the turnover.
Got to move the sticks here, though.
Ross is flushed out. Moving to his left, has to throw it, and he's going to skip it towards Gibson. So the Franklin drive stops there as Rose-Hulman picks up the offense there with a 3 and out.
Pass rush caused that. Coverage sack if you'd have gotten the sack, but it's so hard to run to your left and throw back against your body to a receiver who is still short of the sticks there. So, boy, wasted opportunity there for the Grizzlies, and hopefully that doesn't come back to haunt them.
Great field position, too, to start after the return from Stambaugh. Low kick, fielded by Hury. Started left, now comes near side, has a block down the sideline. Flag comes in as Hury was able to get across midfield, but you got to think this flag is in the area of holding or a block in the back.
Yeah, I wonder maybe if it was a crackback block, because I didn't see anybody get a block in the back, but I saw a guy stop and try and come at a Franklin defender who didn't have him in his vision.
That was the 6th punt of this game for Boswell. He's averaging 36.5 yards a punt. Another great one there. And now with this penalty, block in the back against Rose-Hulman will push him back even further.
Well, that is a block in the back penalty. hear the train coming through.
Talked about it earlier. The environment around the stadium is unlike other campuses that we've been to. You got houses across the street. You got roads on each side, people driving by. Great environment, great turnout for Rose-Hulman and for Franklin. There are fans packed up in the stands, but also plenty of lawn chairs spread around the end zones, along the sideline, making use of trying to get everybody in here as much as they can.
Nick Winders there with a great play on that little bubble screen. So not much yardage at all there on that first down play for Rose-Hulman.
2nd down and 9 on the slant. Hooking up with Tysaliu, who breaks free across midfield. Adam Tysaliu is going to score. Taking it all the way. 76 yards. Adam Tysaliu extends the Rose-Hulman lead. It's now 30-7.
Boy, that's one of those passes where 2 defenders were coming in on Tysaliu. Dion laid it in there perfectly. Broken tackles. You'll see the broken tackles. Boom, boom, right there. And another one right there. And after that, it was off to the races for the house call.
76 yards. Dion hits Tysaliu. That's his 3rd passing touchdown. And the first one that doesn't go to a guy named Noah Thomas. Tysaliu now has 4 catches for 117. PAT from Olinger is up and good to make it 31-7. Fighting Engineers starting to roll away with this one. It's the Heartland Game of the Week on HCAC.TV. Andrew Dion now has 275 passing yards after the 76-yard catch and run to Adam Tysaliu. And for Rose-Hulman, Thomas picks up touchdowns 7 and 8 in this ballgame. Tysaliu has his 3rd touchdown reception on the year. Return from Thompson, tripped up and falls down at the 27.
Curie has 6, Hobbs has 5. They've just got weapons upon weapons on Rose-Hulman's side, and they're taking advantage of them, and now their backs are really against the wall here for Franklin as they're down 24 points.
Spreading the wealth around. One of the pregame notes that we made of between Dion and his receivers. Now 4 different receivers with 30 catches or more. Thomas on the year has 44. He's got 5 catches in this one so far for 68 yards. Franklin trying to answer, unable to do so after the interception, and it could start here with a run by Thompson as he breaks loose, and he's going to pick up 17 on the first down carry.
Early in the second half, still 10-0 Mount St. Joseph over Hanover in Cincinnati.
We'll keep our eyes on that game for the duration of the afternoon. Another look at the Thompson breakthrough. Nice blocking up to the second level from this offensive line. Back to work again. Ross, deep down the field. Intercepted for Rose-Hulman, bringing it down. A huge heartbreaker for Franklin. Tice Miller, the junior from Bargersville, Indiana. And just like that, things are really starting to fall apart, unfortunately, for the Grizzlies.
Trying to get Ryan Poole down the field, and they've gotten separation. Did not get separation on that play. The underthrown ball was an easy pick for Tice Miller.
Ryan Poole without a catch in this ball game. They have kept him in check. Poole on the year just has 2 receptions, but has been in most of the offensive snaps for Franklin. Wilshans to begin this drive, able to come away with 3 yards. The running game continuing to just get small yardage plays. Most of these runs have been 3 yards, 4 yards, and 5 yards, but they have made a difference in this ballgame for Rose-Hulman.
And right now, there's no reason not to run the football a lot because the clock is your friend with this 24-point lead early in the third quarter.
Rose-Hulman 4th in the conference in running the football. Franklin is 3rd. Dion down the field to Hury into double coverage, and a nice bat down made by Franklin's defensive back, Nick Winders.
Boy, I tell you what, Dion has taken a lot of chances today. I don't know that we've seen but maybe 2 or 3 passes against single coverage, one-on-one. He's thrown into double, triple coverage all afternoon long. But he likes to sling it.
And a few possessions ago did have the interception, but mostly a clean and effective game. They go back to this play. Wilshans, delayed handoff going nowhere. Nice tackle made by Franklin's number 52. That's Jason Pigg, a name that we've called a couple of times this afternoon.
Good to see him back again like we talked about. We got dinged up early in the first half along the sidelines, but come back in. Great tackle there. And are they going to go for it?
It is 4th and 6. Referees get involved and stop the clock for a moment. They want to reset the play clock to 25 seconds. It got reset to, well, I'm not sure if it even ran, but they will set it now at 25, and Coach Sokol's going to opt to punt it away.
Yeah, you got to punt this football if you're Rose-Hulman, and I think they just wanted to get the play clock and the clock running before they started anything, just to keep them, Franklin, off balance. You know, coaches, they don't like to show their hand early in anything.
Punting the football for the 3rd time is Andrew Toller. 3rd in the conference, averages 35.5 yards per punt.
One of his earlier punts went inside the 20, which gives him 6 on the year. He does have 6 punts of over 50 yards on the season this year, so he can boom it as well.
3rd in the conference in average punting yards is Toller, but an even better number that Rose-Hulman can appreciate is the least amount of punts in the conference. That was punt number 33 on the year, and Hanover is 2nd in that regard. They had 33 coming into this afternoon, so very few punts from Rose-Hulman this year. You got to appreciate that.
Which is the better position to have? Backup quarterback to a guy who never gets hurt and runs a high-powered offense, or a punter of a team that slings it down the field and never punts? Which one's better? I don't know. I think the quarterback, because they make more money in the pros.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Jim Sorgi, and what a career, right?
Yeah. Didn't have to do much.
No.
They put Cora in motion now. Ross swings it out to him. Gets around defender number 1, but still a short gain. May have gotten 2.
Hands up in the air from the defensive line of Rose-Hulman. Almost tipped that football. You got to be careful with that pass.
2nd down and 8. Franklin's at the 30. And time and your possessions going to start playing a factor as we get into the later stages of this ball game. Get a whistle that comes in, a flag from the umpire.
It's a delay of game. Oh, false start.
False start is the call. 2nd false start for Franklin, and just the 3rd penalty all afternoon. Again, referees have had a fairly easy, quiet ball game.
Yeah, Derek Thompson, 5 rushes, 28 yards, 5.6 a clip. Garrett Core only averaging 1.2 yards a carry, so it doesn't surprise me to see them bringing in Thompson quite a bit more here. Jared Gibson's the guy that got involved early offensively.
Another batted pass. It goes back to Ross, who bats it down himself, and that's the 2nd time now that Rose-Hulman has had a pass batted down by Tyler Smith.
And he's their leading tackler on the day, too. He's been everywhere So you got to watch out for number 8 and know where he's at, just like you do on the other side with Jairo Ohada. Those guys wreak havoc. I like saying that, wreak havoc.
It's a good word.
Yeah.
Nice wide vocabulary.
Well, I like to at least sound that I'm smart when I'm not.
Well, 3rd down and 13. And just getting back to the line of scrimmage is Cora. Another punt upcoming from Boswell. This will be his 7th of the game. The Rose-Hulman defense has been just as good. It's so easy to overlook a defense when your offense is putting up points like this, but they have looked just as good.
Great coverage on the receivers going out in their route trees, but the pressure forced him to step up in the pocket. And with the receivers open, he tried to run. They closed down, shut it down, and now it's 4th and long.
Fighting Engineers trying to end the 3-game win streak that Franklin currently has. They got a win last week, 13-7 on the road at Anderson. After muffing the punt originally, Hobbs.
Oh, my goodness.
Dancing around, making guys miss, and this could be a touchdown. Hobbs dives into the end zone. Punt return score for number 4. Jalen Hobbs makes it 37-7. The sophomore from North Carolina showing off why he's one of the best playmakers in the conference.
How did he make so many guys miss there? It's like he was, greased down or something. I mean, drops the football, gets through those double tackles there, coming around, and just breaks ankles all over the place. Gets down to the end, last little move, and boop, right into the end zone.
A 59-yard punt return. Hobbs fielded it at the 40, then muffed it, picked it up at the 42, and took it all the way, making guys miss. Jalen Hobbs, spectacular, to make it 38-7 in favor of the Fighting Engineers, trying to move on and be 6-0 in Heartland Conference play.
You're good at making big announcements.
We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
Back at Franklin College, we are live on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Also, like you saw there, follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Hit that notification bell as well so you're notified of every tweet we send out when we go live, everything you need for game day.
This broadcast is copyrighted by IndianaSRN and the Heartland Collegiate Athletic Conference for the private use of our audience. The use of pictures, videos, and audio without the express written permission of the HCAC is prohibited.
Another great coverage on the kickoff for Rose-Hulman. They only allow Franklin to get to the 21. And so halfway through this third quarter, a little bit over, and Rose-Hulman has been able to score twice. It was 76 yards for Adam Tice-Saliu, and that came just 3.5 minutes into the third quarter. And then 4 minutes later, not too long ago, Jalen Hobbs taking the punt return 59 yards to the house. A huge start in this third for Rose-Hulman. And they have Franklin backed up, backs against the wall. Here's another pass deflection for Rose-Hulman. The pressure, there really hasn't been a clean pocket in this game for Ross. He's had to flush out and try to extend the play the best he can for most of this ball game.
They've made him uncomfortable as a freshman in one of his, first couple of starts here, and that's exactly what they wanted to do. And it has made it difficult for this offense. And now they're in a position where they have to get big chunks of yardage quickly because of the score. So that makes it even more uncomfortable for them. It's going to be a tough road to hoe for this Franklin Grizzly squad.
Gibson in jet motion to the ground game with Cora. Nice pickup here, 4 yards for Garrett Cora. His longest run today has been 7. He's had 2 negative yardage pickups. And right now, just looking at 20 yards of rushing.
It's been a tough day running the football for the Grizzlies. The linebackers, as we talked about, Stevens, Cross, and Bowen for Rose-Hulman have been fantastic, filling those gaps and stopping the run game in its tracks.
Very quickly, it's 3rd down and 6. Ross feeling the pressure again, having to step up. Can't get it with his legs. He's going to have to throw, and it's through the hands of Gibson. Another incomplete pass and another punt upcoming from Boswell, who was just out there on the field, but Hobbs made quick work with the punt return.
Gibson was open. Great pass rush there by Tyler Smith. Almost got to Ross, but a nice little chip block there at the end allowed Ross to come out to the side, roll out a little bit just over the head of Gibson. That would have been enough for first down yardage.
Gibson ended the first half with 6 catches. He does have 1 in this second half, but it went for -2 yards. So Rose-Hulman doing a nice job of taking care of one of the best threats for Franklin. Here's a really good threat for Rose-Hulman again at Hobbs. A decent return again. He's going to be able to get to the 48-yard line. And an injured player down, you see there around midfield for Franklin. Can't quite catch the number for the Grizzlies, but he is down. And we can see the Franklin sideline displeased. And with a lot of time left in this ball game, you don't necessarily want to just fold over and watch the clock tick down. It's going to be a long game to try and finish and hopefully try to put some more points up on the board, make this game just a little bit closer.
Yeah, you definitely want to end strong as you go in the next week in your rivalry game against Hanover. Speaking of the other teams in the conference, end of the third quarter, Bluffton 24, Manchester 0. In the third quarter, Anderson leads Defiance 21-7.
Our game last week, we had Anderson and Mount St. Joseph down in Cincinnati. The Lions coming out on top, and they're trying to win this afternoon and give themselves a shot for next week against Rose-Hulman.
Let's take a second and thank all of these athletic departments. They have been so welcoming to us, the athletic directors, the SIDs, down to the spotters, everyone. It's just been a tremendous run here for us in these 6 weeks. We look forward, to finishing strong next week. It's going to be sad because this has been nothing but a complete enjoyable experience for us at SRN in the Heartland Conference.
I can agree with that. Keith can agree with that. The rest of us here at SRN. It has been a joy to do these games. And we have met some fantastic people from every campus.
If you like what you see and what you hear, contact your AD and Jay Jones, the athletic director, and say, you know what, we'd like to get basketball on the air too, or whether it's men's or women's or, you name it, soccer. We've got some volleyball going on today and tomorrow.
That's right. We got semifinals of the Heartland Conference Tournament. Jimmy Cook and the coach on the call of that one. Tomorrow, the championship game at Earlham.
Where you'll be.
That's right.
So we've built some great relationships here in the Heartland Conference, and we'd love to see it continue, as this is a lot of fun.
Gain of 5 on the pass from Dion to Thomas.
Dion Thomas? Illinois great center?
Oh,
sorry.
Come on.
It's basketball season, is it not?
Not yet.
Well, I mean, it is in the NBA.
No, we don't care about the NBA. We only care about football.
Right now we do. That's, Welshans.
Shake and bake, Shane Wilshans. From the 47 to the 37, 10-yard pickup. Wilshans now has 3 catches out of the backfield.
I think they call that shifty. What a nice little move here at the end of this play to gain some more yards and get the first down.
And at the 38-yard line now is Rose-Hulman. Greshik in motion. And he's trying to get a kick-out block and help Welshans on the carry, but nothing doing.
Yeah, he came across in motion, did Grisak, and then he turned back around and did a chip on Ojeda to keep him off the play because Ojada's been he's so quick and so good. They've kept him off of Dion, which I think has been their main goal on offense today, and they've done a great job of that.
Get some whistles before this play, and
that could be a flag.
There's not going to be a flag as Welshans was looking for one. He took a nice push from Dante Darden, who I guess didn't hear the whistle. So we got a whistle before the play. It's a false start against Rose-Hulman. Second time they've been guilty of that, but a clean ball game penalty-wise, just 4 for the Fighting Engineers, 3 on the other side for Franklin. A team that averages 42 points per game is Rose-Hulman. And they're getting close to that mark now at 38 and threatening to score again. The defense has put Franklin in 3 and outs, and the offense picks up where the defense leaves off. 12-yard pickup for Shane Welshans. He's getting closer to 100 yards on the ground.
He's been fabulous today. Very, if I may, Christian McCaffrey-like, running the football and catching the football out of the backfield. He has been a weapon for them today against the best rushing defense in the conference. He may be the leader in the clubhouse for player of the game.
Busting through the middle, Welshans now over 85 yards on the ground. Has been a workhorse, 19 carries for him. Graysock again comes in motion. This time it's Ruperta who only gets back to the line of scrimmage.
And you know, everyone looks forward to Debbie Myers' cookies as the player of the game. That's why they're out there playing their hearts out. They were like, I want the cookies. Now, the question is, will the player that gets it give it to the offensive lineman like we saw last week and the week before? These guys aren't dumb.
No.
You're opening the holes for me. I'm going to give you the cookies.
And, I mean, are the offensive linemen, are they going to turn down cookies?
Would I turn down cookies? Come on now.
Would anybody turn down cookies? Especially if they come from Mrs. Myers.
I think she needs to double up her recipe next week so we can give them to the crew as well as the player of the game since it's the last
week. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Thomas gets another catch, and now it's 3rd down and 1. Thomas, hey, he could be in that conversation too.
He very well could be, yeah.
6 catches for Thomas, 2 scores, and he's got one-on-one to the top. But they'll keep it on the ground. This is Ruperta trying to weave his way through and may have actually lost a yard. Either way, it's going to be 4th down.
We can't forget Tice Miller. He has an interception today. Made a lot of good plays defensively as a defensive back. He might be in the conversation as well.
That's right. We haven't given it to a defensive player.
We have not
this year. It's been a couple of running backs, a couple of quarterbacks, about half and half.
Backup quarterback week 1. It's good to see Josh Taylor back from Mount St. Joseph, by the way.
Andrew Dion was a player of the game once, and now on 4th down, they're not going to get it. They go back to Welshans, who is having much more success running the football. But Franklin comes up with a 4th down stop. And now a little something to cheer about for the Grizzly faithful.
Coach Hensel very excited there on the sidelines, trying to get his guys pumped up. And small victories here, you'll take them because they build into something bigger. Now you got to do something offensively if you are the Grizzlies.
Grizzlies make the stop with 90 seconds, 91 to be exact, left in this 3rd quarter. Ross hands off to Thompson. Thompson only 2 yards.
Well, you know, if we're talking about a defensive player, Tyler Smith is somebody who's been fantastic today for Rose-Hulman as well.
A couple batted passes. Has been a guy to really set the tone on that edge.
10 tackles today as well.
Leading everybody in that statistic. Here's a catch made by McKinney. Dylan McKinney has his 4th catch, and it's good enough for a first down.
You know, McKinney's done a great job of getting separation, especially on those sideline routes. And good, you know, Kai Ross throws a good ball to the sideline.
Ross has thrown some good balls. He has played the quarterback position well today. Has the 1 interception, but mostly making good decisions, taking care of the football, has felt relentless pressure throughout the game and has done his best as a freshman to make the most of it.
Man, Garrett Cora, 5'10", 175. He looks like a receiver, but he is a tough, hard-nosed running back.
Now 2nd and 2. After the 8-yard pickup, Cora again. It's going to be stacked up and stopped just short. Is able to pick up 1, so that'll have a 3rd down and 1 upcoming.
And 24 yards on the ground for Cora, 30 for Thompson.
With that carry from Cora, the 3rd quarter comes to an end. Rose-Hulman explodes in the 3rd quarter. Just 15 more minutes left to go. Fighting Engineers lead at 38-7 on the Heartland Game of the Week on IndianaSRN.
My name is John Heitz, and I own the Red Pepper Deli in Madison, Indiana. We've been in business for 15 years now. I'm so passionate about food is because I like to cook and I like to create awesome items. The best advice that has ever been given to me was from my father, who said, you've got to work hard, and if you work hard, you will succeed. He's right. It's not always going to be fun, but don't even try to go into business if you're not going to put 100% into it. The ideal experience is for the customer to come in and be really wowed by the atmosphere, be wowed by the products that we serve, the food in our deli case, the sandwiches and salads, soups that we make. I want the client to feel satisfied and really feel that they've got their money's worth and have enjoyed everything that they've had at the restaurant. Whenever you get a chance, we'd love to see you stop by the Red Pepper Deli in Madison, Indiana. Look for
Just in time for this snap to start the 4th quarter. It's on 3rd down and 1, and Cora doesn't look like he got it. In fact, pushed backwards for a yard.
Oh, you got to go for this, Coach.
Coach Hensel opting not to in your own territory. Boswell will punt it now for the 9th time. Look again at the play. Stacking the box. Everybody coming in for Rose-Hulman.
And they knew exactly what Franklin was going to run. That's what they've done. Again, after that first drive, just absolutely nothing for Franklin. As we have a timeout, somebody was missing on punt coverage.
And Coach Hensel has to call a timeout. So they only had 10 out there. I'm not sure if this will be an actual timeout. Well, it's going to have to be because Coach Hensel didn't even want to talk to his group. He just wanted to get the guy out there and punt it away. But they will get together for this 4th down play. And another 3 and out here for Franklin. Again, next week the Grizzlies at Hanover for the Bell game. We will be there unless there's a schedule change, so make sure you follow us and keep your eyes peeled for that one because we very well could see Rose-Hulman next week too.
Yeah, keep us on your Twitter sphere at IndianaSRN. You want to find out all the stuff from the Heartland Conference, HCAC DII, that's D3 at IndianaSR on Twitter. If you like what you see again, hey, you can help donate and help put kids on TV. IndianaSRN.org. Hit that donate button, and we've got the sports page as well with all your daily updates.
Boswell, nice high punt. Hobbs muffs it at the 30, but is able to pounce back onto it. He felt the heat coming in from Wyatt Cormack, and lucky to hold on to that one for his team.
Man, that's some serious hang time on that punt for sure. The last Franklin College win against Rose-Hulman was October 5th, 2019 on a 29-28 score. in the spring. Rose-Hulman won 34-14, but Franklin leads the all-time series 43-25-2.
These two teams historically very good in the Heartland Conference. You are very much going to see them at the top of every preseason poll every season, always putting some good teams out on the field are Rose-Hulman and Franklin.
Well, Coach Sokol is only 2-8 against Franklin in his Rose-Hulman coaching career, so he's happy to try and get another one in the win column against this Grizzly squad that causes him issues.
Last time we saw Rose-Hulman was 2 weeks ago at Manchester, and they got that win. Again, 5-0 in conference play are the Fighting Engineers. Trying to go for that undefeated mark. 6-2 on the year overall is Rose-Hulman. Jet sweep. Here's Hobbs. Trying to get around the outside. Grizzly sideline wanted a holding call, but Hobbs is able to pick up 4.
Yeah, Rose-Hulman's only 2 defeats on the year was opening week against Wabash, 33-23. Then in week 3, they lost at Hope College, 27-20. And they defeated Trine pre-conference. But since then, it's been nothing but W's for the Fighting Engineers.
Could have started the season 0-3. That was just a 1-point victory against Trine.
It was, at Trine.
So a very tough non-conference schedule, and that seems to be the case for every Heartland team. And here's a pass broken up. Ty Saliu was the intended target. And the defender for Franklin looked like Winders was in the area, but also Mitchell. He's going to get credit for the breakup.
He will. And Franklin, they started off really well, too, 2-0, beating Illinois Wesleyan 35-21, then defeating Rhodes 36-29. Then they faced powerhouse Wisconsin Platteville, lost 44-19. And then the shocker, losing to Manchester in overtime on a 3-game losing streak, but then they came back and won 3 in a row against Bluffton, Anderson, and Defiance. That looks like it may end today.
Punt nearly blocked by Franklin. Toller is able to get it off. His 4th punt this afternoon, not his best. As the Grizzlies will set up shop at around the 48.
But the big one's next week for the Bell at Hanover, 1:30 right now on IndianaSRN. You love the rivalry games the last week of the year. Bluffton Defiance, Franklin Hanover. I mean, my goodness, Mount St. Joseph, Rose-Hulman maybe for the conference title. We'll see if we can get an update score on that Mount St. Joseph Hanover game.
Manchester Anderson is kind of a little bit of a rivalry too. We've heard about some high-scoring, very close affairs in the past couple of years between those two.
Their proximity makes that a pretty good rivalry as well.
No gain on the carry for Cora. Cora just 2 yards per carry. The Rose-Hulman defense, that front for them with Tyler Smith, Bo Thomas, Jonathan Anstedt up there as well. Causing havoc.
There's Tyler Smith causing havoc too.
Again, Ross has to roll out and off the hands of his receiver, that time being Devin Moeller.
Couple of updates. Anderson leads Defiance 28-7 in the 3rd. At the end of 3, Bluffton 24, Manchester nothing. No update since 10-0 for Mount St. Joseph and Hanover.
Third down here for Franklin. Blitz coming in. Out of his break. Great timing between Ross and Gibson. On 3rd down and 10, 13-yard pickup. Jarrett Gibson now 8 catches, 85 yards receiving. The leading reception man this year. 55 on the year, going deep this time. McKinley trying to get off of his man, and he's unable to. Dylan McKinney now 4 receptions for 55. Him and Gibson have been the 2 busiest receivers. Another look at that play, deep down the field. Ball thrown towards the middle of the field.
Oh, blitz coming. Ooh, right there. Almost picked off.
Tipped at the line. We'll see who got a hand on it, as Gibson was the intended target over the middle of the field.
But Kaiser Bowen of Centerville, Michigan, read that perfectly with the blitz, timed it even better, and was right in Ross's face.
Could have been Michael Stevens, number 33, who got the hand on it. But if he doesn't, Gibson could have that catch and possibly a first down. But instead, it's 3rd down. 5-step drop for Ross. Crossing pattern. First catch for Ryan Poole. Poole back towards the middle of the field. Dives forward. Nice second effort to the 26. It's enough for a first down.
When they've run those routes where they've had 2 receivers together and they cross, they've always seemed to have a guy be able to drag behind and get open and get some yardage there. Maybe keep trying those crossing routes with each other, rub routes, whatever you want to call them, and get some space and empty spaces in the field.
Another batted down ball, and guess who?
Tyler Smith.
That's right. Tyler Smith, that's at least 3 passes that he has jumped up and swatted down into the turf.
That was like a volleyball spike.
Just nothing, Ross, you can do. You can see they're trying to set up the wide receiver middle screen with Poole.
I think I heard a as he knocked that down, too. You got to get that sound in there as well.
Well, if we had an offensive and a defensive player of the game, I think no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Defensively, we're looking at Tyler Smith.
That is correct.
A game wrecker. Scoring the touchdown. What a catch. Elijah Corwin. Falling backwards. Corwin, his second catch, and this one's good for 6 from 26 yards out.
Great throw by Kai Ross to his tight end, Elijah Corwin, down in the corner. Just went up and got it over Riley Roberts, it looks like.
Defender was right there on his hip, and Corwin, who's a big body, is going to win that matchup more times than not. Kick is good through the middle from Carter Brown. It's now 38-14. Franklin gets on the board. Elijah Corwin, 6'4", sophomore from Greenville, Indiana. His second catch in this ball game. 39 yards receiving. That one was good from 26. And on the year for Corwin, just his 6th reception this entire season, his 2nd time he's reached the end zone.
Sometimes when defenses are keying on your main weapons, you got to go to other guys. You got to get that. It's a live ball.
High pooch kick is fielded by Rose-Hulman, and I guess he stepped out of bounds. Riley Roberts was on the return for Rose-Hulman, and you can see nearly got a flag thrown.
He did not think he was out of bounds at all.
No, he did not.
He was heated. We'll see here.
Yes,
yeah, he was.
It was actually the right foot, it appeared, not the left foot on this near sideline. Still a decent return on the high and very short kick.
Andrew Dion still coming out for the Fighting Engineers.
A great game for Dion. 290 yards already through the air, which is right at where Rose-Hulman averages per game. He picks up 4, actually 3 yards this time. And now Dion is just a few yards from eclipsing 300.
Just when you think, the way the game started, well, he's probably not going to get those numbers. And you look down at the end of the game, and there he is.
23 touchdowns coming into this one. Dion now bumps that number up to 26. This being the 9th game played. Completion percentage of 63. Great year for the quarterback. This time he'll hand off to Hury on the jet sweep and push backwards, back to the line of scrimmage. The original one, it's a loss of 3. A couple guys in there on the tackle for Franklin, including, my paper nearly blows away from the wind, Shea McGrath, sophomore on the defensive line. He wears number 5 and number 62, Tanner Swindle.
Swindle, we've called his name quite a bit today, number 62. Third and long here.
Whistles before the play, and again it was going to be a jet sweep with Hury, but the whistles come in before the snap. False start pushes Rose-Hulman back 5 yards, so now 3rd and 15 upcoming.
And referees, there you go, pick your flag up. Like your mom said, don't leave your laundry out on the floor. Come on now.
Just the 5th penalty all game against Rose-Hulman. But it does set them up with a 3rd and long. Dion will throw. Goes through his progressions, has Ruperta open. Could have had some more yards after the catch, but he slips up after he reels in the catch. And it's just a 4-yard gain.
Yeah, the throw was behind him, so when he got turned around, he lost his balance and his footing in. It's a punt time for Rose-Hulman. Still 10 minutes left to go here in this football game.
It'll be Andrew Toller for Rose-Hulman. 5th punt coming up from Toller. Takes a couple steps and punts it from the 30.
Oh, my.
A deep, spiraling punt. Gibson has to back up about 10 yards, and now he's pushed back even further. Gives a nice stiff arm. And will pick up some positive yards on the return, close to the 20. But Gibson gets out to the 19-yard line.
That was a bomb. That was insane.
We'll check the yardage on that punt real quickly as a couple of other college football games are getting started. Taking a look at some of the scores.
Big Ten. Yeah, the Big Ten's interesting. Purdue's already up on Michigan State 7-0.
And that game's at Purdue, too, so quite the environment, I'm guessing, at Ross-Ade.
Ohio State pulled off a close one against Nebraska, 26-17.
Flag comes in. It'll be a false start against Franklin.
Oh, yeah. My Fighting Illini won at Minnesota.
That's right.
How about that for a sandwich, right? You know, you win at Penn State, you lose at home to Rutgers, then you win at Minnesota. Two top 20 wins on the road and can't win at home.
It's just an up-and-down roller coaster of a season.
Such is the life of an Illinois football fan. For those of you that don't know, I grew up in Central Illinois. That's why I'm a huge Illinois sports fan.
Tight end towards the left of the formation for Franklin. Again, Ross has to extend the play with his legs. He does find a man in Derek Thompson for his first catch, a usual tailback, but this time goes out into a route, does Thompson.
And who was there to make the play? Michael Stevens. Again, such speed as a middle linebacker to be able to push him out of bounds. And who was one of the guys putting pressure on Kai Ross?
Tyler Smith.
Tyler Smith.
Second down and 11, actually, as Thompson was pushed out 1 yard behind the line of scrimmage. Ross bobbles the snap over the middle of the field. Had Gibson, but threw it behind him.
And again, nice stunt from Smith to come around and right in Ross's face as he threw it. Made him throw it early. Tyler Smith has been everywhere today.
And Gibson took a big rock after the pass went through his hands. Got dug into the turf.
Yeah, you go up high like that, you leave yourself very vulnerable as a receiver if a defender can stick his shoulder into you and drive you to the ground. That does not feel well.
Third downs haven't been a strong suit for Franklin, and they face another one here. And again, Ross is flushed out, but this time does connect with Gibson. 15-yard pickup for Kai Ross and Jarrett Gibson, and Gibson now has 100 yards receiving.
Gibson's had a really good game today. Both him and McKinney have been fantastic for this Grizzlies squad.
And for Kai Ross, the freshman signal caller, he's over 200 yards passing. This time it's a designed rollout with blockers in front, and lucky that's not intercepted as that pass was thrown into tight coverage going back to Gibson.
Got a flag back there, maybe roughing the passer or a hold, one of the two. I got a feeling it's going to be roughing the passer.
It was thrown in the area where Ross was taken down by the head referee, and indeed that is the call.
Justin Sands, the senior from Center Hall, Pennsylvania, with the penalty.
It's a huge penalty as it moves the football out to the 48-yard line.
Single coverage down here with McKinney, but no, they're going to run the football.
Thompson, almost taken down by his T-shirt, was able to strengthen his way up to 4 yards. Tough running by Thompson. That's only his 6th carry, but the times that Thompson has been in, he's had some nice glimpses being in there at the running back position. Normally it's been Garrett Cora, but with half the amount of attempts, Thompson has been able to pick up the same amount of yardage.
Boy, that poor T-shirt lived a good life, but
Mom will just throw that one away.
Probably, yes.
Ross will move to his right again, hugging that sideline and little tiptoeing his way before going out is 82 for Franklin. That's his first catch, Devin Moeller.
6'1" senior from Henderson, Nevada. Now there's an out-of-stater right there. He's a long way from home.
On third down and short, right at the sticks is Cora, and it appears that he's going to pick it up. New set of downs upcoming for Franklin. This clock continues to wind. It's closing in on the 6-minute mark. Check that was Thompson on the carry instead of Cora. Going to the single receiver side. Back shoulder throw, but his steps were out of bounds. That was McKinney. A well-thrown ball by Ross. Put it in a great spot, but not enough room to get the feet in was McKinney.
What a great play. Just a tad out of bounds.
You see that left foot, and the right foot follows. Nice capture by Justin upstairs. Gibson in motion. Ross moves to his left. Has to throw it away.
A lot of pressure. Bo Thomas there on that one.
That's right. This pressure has just been relentless. It feels like almost every play the Rose-Hulman front has gotten into the backfield.
Yeah, Tyler Smith, Bo Thomas, Jonathan Anstead have been forcing Kai Ross to rethink what he wants to do and roll out and avoid the pass rush. Fantastic job by the front three of the Fighting Engineers.
Bo Thomas will get credit for that hurry on Ross. Much cleaner pocket, and Ross is able to deliver a strike to Gibson, who gets wrestled around. Forward progress gives him the first down at the 30-yard line. His helmet comes off too. But still, it's a first down picked up for Franklin.
Between two defenders, nice throw there by Ross to Gibson, the junior from Angola.
$12 yards on the pickup. Grizzlies trying to put some more points up on the scoreboard. Ross, deep drop. Deep down the field. Can't hold on to it is McKinney.
Oh, that hit by Roberts right there at the end knocked it out because he had it in his hands. But the double coverage there with the safety deep. Riley Roberts from Center Grove.
Look to be double coverage back deep that way towards McKinney, and maybe slightly underthrown from Ross. But if McKinney is able to catch that, could be a score. Nonetheless, you're inside the 2. Timeout called by Coach Sokol. This play won't count. Rose-Hulman wanting to talk this over. Maybe not in the right formation as the second down is upcoming from Franklin. 5:10 left on the clock.
Again, don't forget to stay here at the end for our player of the game. We'll talk about that as we show you Troy Darengowski giving it to the player of the game that we choose after today's game. It's there's a lot of choices today.
There is. And for the first time, I feel like we have a defensive guy that's in the mix.
Yes, that would be correct. And, Tyler Smith has been fantastic today for them, as has, Welshans and Noah Thomas.
Hobbs had the punt return.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just one big play, but it just shows there are so many studs, there's so many skill guys on this Rose-Hulman team that you got to watch out for.
That is correct. And the score may hold up. We'll check again on the Mount St. Joseph score. We're playing for a conference championship next weekend at home.
Up the middle for 3 yards goes Cora. Tyler Smith, another tackle made for Rose-Hulman.
Update volleyball. Earlham defeated Hanover 3-1, and they're going to advance in the conference title.
That game will be tomorrow. Batted in the air. Tyler Smith almost had the interception.
Or that might have sealed the deal for him.
He didn't have the deflection, but he nearly came away with the football, falling backwards, trying to make an acrobatic catch. Let's see who got the hand on it. I think that was Stevens for Rose-Hulman. Michael Stevens in there. Looks like Andrew Walkowski as well. Feeling the heat again. Slinging it off balance and picking up a first down on what was 4th down. This catch hauled in by Franklin's Garrett Cora.
Cora adjusted his route there as there was pressure on the quarterback. Came out on the left-hand side, but then as Ross worked his way left and being forced out of the pocket, he came back across the middle, and Ross found him for the first down.
Second catch this afternoon for Cora. He's also had 17 carries. Looking to pass again towards the end zone. Maybe a pass interference call. But it's going to fall incomplete. His intended target was Michael Reese, the first time we've seen the sophomore tight end. Here's 2nd down and 10 for Franklin. Cora again for the 18th time. He's going to come away with 5 yards.
Gibson has over 100 yards receiving now, 9 catches, 114 yards. McKinney has 4 for 60. Tyler Smith, 11 tackles.
This has been a long drive, it feels
has
like,
been.
for Franklin. They're trying to come away with points. Tipped again at the line of scrimmage, and you know what? I think it was the man on the turf who's mad with himself. That's Tyler Smith again. Watch the replay here. Smith has just had his eyes on the quarterback nearly this entire game. That'll stop the clock with 3:17, and it's another 4th down, this time 4th and 5. Trying to keep this drive going and possibly come away with points. Ross won't go down, but finally does. And who else would it be but Tyler Smith to bring him down? What a defensive effort it has been for number 8 of Rose-Hulman. He ends the Franklin drive, and now it's a matter of the Fighting Engineers taking the rest of this clock out. Tyler Smith, 6'4", 240, a lot to handle, and Franklin just didn't have an answer for him this afternoon.
From Spring, Texas. Hopefully the parents, if they didn't come up for this game, are watching on HCAC.tv.
That's what it's all about. Direct give up the middle for Welshans. Welshans a great game running the football, has kept Rose-Hulman in a balanced attack here in this game. Over 300 yards passing for Dion, and over 120 rushing for Rose-Hulman as a team. Two and a half minutes remaining. Welshans again will bounce it outside. Gets a nice block from his receiver. Brings it back towards the numbers. And he's over the 35-yard line for a pickup of 12 yards.
No score update from Hanover Mount St. Joseph, but it does look like Anderson's going to get their first win as they're up 35-7 against Defiance.
We saw Anderson last week at Mount St. Joseph.
We did.
They have some studs, including Zach Talent, who's the all-time leader in receiving yards now, career at Anderson University. He got that 2 weeks ago, had a great game last week, and our guess is he probably had another stellar performance in this week. 2 yards on the ground for Welshans, who's now over 100. Helmet comes off for a Franklin player.
Charlie Moore from Mount Vernon High School in McCordsville. Looks like he had something pop off of that, maybe the snap or whatever.
We saw a Mount Vernon kid last week for for Anderson, the quarterback Tyson Harley. So we've seen a lot of kids from nearby schools from where we're from.
Yeah, and then Mount Vernon won their sectional title last night, convincingly.
Convincingly from probably the first quarter. The final score was 70-0?
I think it was. I think it was 42-0 at the end of the first.
Welshans this time is going to be pushed back for a loss of 1. This is one of the greatest times in in sports is where the leaves start to change, and we can see it here at Franklin. The trees here are nothing like we've seen from other campuses. But this time of the year is great with sectional championship games last night, and now you're getting into some really good football games for the rest of the year.
Yeah, high school football on Friday nights and college football on Saturday. Doesn't get much better than that.
Looks to be one last kneel down upcoming for Rose-Hulman. Dion will take a step back, knee it down, and that will do it. The Fighting Engineers are now 6-0 in conference play, 7-2 overall. They'll have a date with Mount St. Joseph next week, and that'll be the deciding game on who is going to be the Heartland Conference champion. Fighting Engineers win it 38-14, our final. They top the Grizzlies of Franklin College. Franklin now falls to 5-4 and 3-3 in conference play. And next week will be the much-anticipated bell game as the Grizzlies will travel to Hanover and take on the Panthers. We will either be at that game or we will see Rose-Hulman next week in the conference championship against Mount St. Joseph, pending the score, the final score in the Mount St. Joseph game.
Yes, that is correct, and stay tuned to @IndianaSRN on Twitter to find out where we will be. And who knows, if somebody steps up, if you want to see both games, call your ADs. We'll see what we can work out. Email coach@IndianaSRN.org. And we've got enough crews to do too, so we'll be more than willing to go both places.
And both games should be stellar games. I mean, just the history with Franklin and Hanover. I believe next week is the 91st game, the 91st bell game between those two colleges. And then it doesn't get much better than a conference championship game. Rose-Hulman.
So they had the first game when the year Keith Myers was born? The first bell game?
Well, that sounds about right. I think the math is there.
I think that's all right, too.
I think you're right on the money with that one. So Rose-Hulman will look forward to Mount St. Joseph next week and being able to go back home. A tough environment to play in, but the Fighting Engineers live up to the moment and defeat Franklin 38-14 with a great turnout for the Fighting Engineers. They traveled from Terre Haute. They made the drive. There's a good look at the team over at the visiting side of the bleachers.
And you see our guy, Troy Darengowski, with Mrs. Myers cookies for the player of the game.
Should we say it?
We went with a curveball this week.
We sure did. Well, here's the thing. Andrew Dion had a magnificent game, as he always does, and we were able to give him player of the game 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Also, another guy who had a great game, Shane Wilshans, who finished with over 100 yards receiving and 1 score. Noah Thomas had 6 catches, including 2 touchdowns. So the offense was there for Rose-Hulman. But, like you said, a little bit of a curveball, a little change-up, I suppose. We're going defensively, and we're going to give it to number 8, Tyler Smith.
As you see, Troy, he's giving it to him now as Tyler is player of the game, and I'm sure if they don't enjoy those before they get back to the locker room, they will enjoy them on the fun bus ride home.
Tyler Smith finished the game with 12 total tackles, 2 of them for loss, and that doesn't even take into account the amount of hurries, the amount of pressures, and also the batted down passes. We counted at least 5 that Smith had at the line of scrimmage.
He was everywhere, completely deserved the award, and it's kind of fun to let the defensive guys have a little bit of love too.
Yeah, it's not always going to be the quarterback and the running back who's going to probably end up giving it to his O-line, the guys up front who did it all for him. This time it's going to be Tyler Smith, and he's going to dish it out to his fellow teammates on the defensive side of the football.
He's the Charles Woodson of the player of the game for us here at IndianaSRN and HCAC.TV.
So we hope Tyler and the rest of the defense enjoy the cookies from Mrs. Myers. Also, shout out to the coach who wasn't with us this week. Glad that Troy could fill in on the sidelines for us. He gave some great interviews for us at halftime. Also, shout out to our cameraman, Justin Griffiths, who, as always, gave us some great shots this afternoon. Our producer this week, Nick Lewis, always a fantastic job from him. And for you, Mr. Sean Kroll, your final thoughts about this one, and also looking forward to next week.
Rose-Hulman's really good, and they proved it today. Started a little bit slow, but came on and just was methodical in the way they took care of their business. And now they've got a home date with Mount St. Joseph next week, and as we'll try and keep updated on what the score is there with Hanover. It could be for a conference championship, but please check us out at IndianaSRN on Twitter to find out where we will be, whether it's one place or possibly two.
That's right. Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe to our YouTube page. Hit the big red button. Also hit the notification bell. Make sure you're staying up to date. Who knows where we'll be? We're not sure yet.
Who knows where I'll be in pregame?
But we know. That's right. That's right. If you didn't catch the pregame, Sean, it's the new segment, Sean Shenanigans, finding the Grizmobile out in the tailgate lot. That was something. One of the coolest things that we have seen pregame at the tailgate for any of these Heartland campuses.
That's the reason to follow us on Twitter right there.
That's exactly right. Next week. So stay tuned. Don't worry about the game. Make sure you come back next week and stay tuned for the pregame video, because that'll be just as good, baby. We'll see what we find Sean doing next week. But anyways, for the final time, let's wrap things up. Rose-Hulman gets the victory, 38-14 over the Grizzlies of Franklin. They're now 6-0 in conference play, and next week we'll have the deciding game in the Heartland Collegiate Athletic Conference at home against Mount St. Joseph. And next week for Franklin, they'll have the bell game at Hanover. We will be at one or the other or both. You'll have to wait and see. For our entire crew here.
Wait, time out. Jump in real quick. Where will we be tomorrow?
Oh, we got volleyball tomorrow.
Yes.
We have the championship volleyball tomorrow in the Heartland Conference from Earlham College. Myself and the coach will be there for that. So if you like volleyball, make sure you tune in tomorrow for that championship game. And now we can wrap things up. 38-14, our final score. Rose-Hulman wins it. For our entire crew here at IndianaSRN, thanks so much for tuning in. We will see you next week.